Welcome to KG5 for Bupa TSL Round 7 action. It is the battle of two southern heavyweights in this TSL competition. The Glenorchy Magpies hosting the Lauderdale Bombers. Lauderdale Bombers enter undefeated. Glenorchy with just one blemish to their season so far, coming off the back of a loss to North Launceston up at UTAS Stadium. A fascinating contest. Damian and Gill bring this one live to you, and my co-commentator is just rushing to take his position. He'll join us in just a second, but we're set for a big day of footy here at KG5. Here we are. Welcome, Chris Rowbottom.
G'day, Damo. I tell you what, it is tough work to find a park here at KG5. There are cars and spectators aplenty here today, and why wouldn't they be? It's going to be a cracking encounter between the top of the table Lauderdale and a team that is looking to bounce back.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're right. KG5 is a difficult one to sort of come and get a park and arrive last minute these days. They're doing it well. They had St Alby truck here the other week. They've got Zambrero today, so they're pulling out all the stops to get the spectators through in the northern suburbs.
Yeah, big Mother's Day clash out here today as well. Obviously tomorrow is Mother's Day, but they're sort of trying to get everybody to bring their mums along to the footy to treat mum to a day out before the actual day itself. So a good initiative from the Glenorchy Footy Club. But what a game we have in our hands.
Yes.
Gilly, it's going to be a cracker. I'm actually looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah, we should go through the lineups. We'll start with the host, Glenorchy, and we'll have a look at the team graphic in a moment. But there has been some late changes from the team you see on there. Namely, and I'm just bringing you up to speed here, Chris Rowbottom, Reece Mott and Josh Arnold out of the side. So they are massive omissions, and it may actually swing the pendulum in terms of how this contest plays out. In comes Tim Butterworth and Giacomo Malucci from the emergencies you see listed. But there's still plenty of quality in this Glenorchy Magpies lineup. You look through the lines, unfortunately Arnold won't be out there, but they've still got the likes of Grant and Gunther in their back half, and Smith, who's a long-raking kicker. In the middle, there's stars aplenty. Banks Smith finding a lot of footy. Rundle, who's arrived from Launceston and is added to that glut of midfield talent. Mott, unfortunately, out. But Jay Bowden has had a fitness test midweek and has got up for this one. And, of course, Aidan Grace, who's been one of the finds of the season, coming across from Geelong to Glenorchy and kicking bags for fun at the moment. And Ben Camrick, I think, is probably another one to call out in really, really good form. Glenorchy is certainly one of the threats in terms of the premiership, and it's a big occasion for them today, isn't it, Chris?
Absolutely is, and really looking, well, I'm keen to see how they cover the likes of Arnold and Reece Mott through the midfield there. It's going to really come down to the likes of Camrick, as you mentioned, and Sammy Rundle as well, to get their hands on the footy, because missing Braden Webb also, who's out for the season. I think I read in the paper today he mangled his knee, or he'd done a monstrous amount of damage or MCL. Something like that was the quote. It was a really strong quote. But yeah, it was an ACL and MCL. Their midfield against the likes of Bill Chambers and Walsh and Burge and these guys for Lauderdale is going to be a really interesting battle, and a battle that Lauderdale will be certainly really fancying themselves in, given those laid outs for Glenorchy today.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at the Bombers, and pretty settled side at this point in time. You'll notice Ryan Wiggins is still emerging, so still making his way back into the side. They had some good ins. Alex Hill's missed a bit of footy, he's back in. Also Alex Heavy's missed a bit of footy with a calf, so they're starting to get some of those soldiers back. And the thing is, they've had injuries early on in the season, but they haven't lost a game. They've been tremendous. Their last outing was a really good victory, and got the chocolates over North Launceston, which is probably the one everyone was talking about. So, yeah, they're in good shape, Lauderdale. They'll be fresh the week off last week, so there's not too many holes in that lineup as you step through it. In the back half, Josh McGuinness, we know he's probably one of the best players in the competition. Robbie McManus, they've moved him off half-back. It's been an inspired move. Raglioni's actually found some really good form this year. Trupp's been a good inclusion as a key post. Through the middle, you've got Phil Bellchambers, a really explosive type. Sutton, who just runs on a wing all day and picks up plenty of the footy. Jacob Gilby, quality forward for them, and then some X-factor types in Saunders and Karen Ewer that add plenty, and then some key post types, Alex Hill and Ben McGuinness, both players they can swing at both ends of the ground. And I guess the real trump card of this lineup as we arrive to the ruck line is Sam Siggins playing on ball, which is a real luxury really given his height and athleticism. In most teams he'd be playing a key post, but they've put him on ball and it's been a masterstroke.
Yeah, it certainly has, and as you say, what a luxury to have a genuine utility in your team. It's almost an old school position, the old utility, but Sam Siggins exemplifies what the utility is. He can play almost literally anywhere on the park. He can play as a roaming on baller, he can play as a ball winning on baller, he can play in the ruck, you could play him one out full forward if you wanted to, you could play in key position back if you wanted to, you could run up and down a wing if you wanted to. Genuine weapons in his arsenal all over the place, Sam Siggins. And if you need a hole patched, that's where Darren Winter's going to go. He's going to go to Sam Siggins and say, do a job here, because he knows he's going to get a good performance more weeks than not. And the thing about Lauderdale is, and we've spoken about this before, is the thing that makes them so good is they've got this core of players that have just been together for so long, and they've played so much footy together that they just know each other's game. And I speak of the likes of, these names, McManus and McGuinness and Sutton and Bell Chambers and Walsh, Franklin, Siggins is a Lauderdale boy. Hayden Smith's been there a while. So that core of sort of 8 or 9 players, Boscott's not out there today and he's been out for a few weeks now. But that's what makes them such a strong outfit. They've been together for a long time. They've probably played sort of 100 games together now, 150, 200 maybe with some of them. And that's a really tough thing to break, because they just know each other's little idiosyncrasies. And it finds itself on the scoreboard. Glenorchy is similar, but they are missing some really key cogs today.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, the likes of Mott and Arnold as laid outs you throw on top of the fact they've already lost their captain in Braden Webb. And earlier on in the season, of course, they lost a couple of very, very handy players in Joseph, who was one of the players of the season last year. He's not playing again this year. He did his ACL. So you have 2 ACLs to really key players. And then today coming into the contest without Mott and Arnold, who are leaders as well. It's going to ask a lot of their sort of B-grade brigade, their depth. They've got a lot of depth. That is the good thing about Glenorchy this year. Their twos have been performing very, very well, but it's occasions like this one which they get to call on that and see whether they can produce on the big stage.
So for someone like a Malucci to come in, he played senior footy, a lot of senior footy at Devonport, good under-18s player, to have him on standby as a reserve or an emergency to come in, he's a quality player.
Yeah.
He would be playing senior footy at most other clubs in the state. Glenorchy, one of the very select few that he doesn't on a regular basis, but to have someone like him come in and as you say, all the way down, even somebody like Tim Butterworth, who's named as an emergency as well. I think he might have even played in a premiership a couple of years ago. So handy types to have, some experience there. But it does get to a point where you can only cover so much, and especially guys of the quality of Braden Webb and Reece Mott and Arnold and these guys. It's tough. And Jay Bowden did pass that fitness test on Thursday, but it'll be interesting just to see how well he passed the test today.
We see Braden Webb just limp past us on crutches. Yeah, that doesn't look good at all. His whole knee his whole leg virtually strapped up, and we see Arnold and Mott in non-playing gear. That's not a delight for Glenorchy fans, but let's not talk down the contest too much, because we know the quality and depth of Glenorchy. They could definitely produce, especially on their home patch. This is going to be fascinating. If you were to have a tip, where would you see this one going?
I think Lauderdale are just a little bit too strong today, but Glenorchy play this ground beautifully, the wide expanses of KG5. And I haven't got the stats in front of me, but I reckon over the history of Glenorchy Lauderdale in the TSL, it'd be even in terms of win-loss, that they always sort of have a close battle when they play each other. I think today will be no different, but I think Lauderdale, just those injuries for Glenorchy might just get them over the line.
They tend to exchange home wins. It's going to be fascinating today. Let's get it going right in the middle by Nick Butler, with a bit of a shocker of a bounce to start, and we know it's a hot topic of mine. In the bounce. Let's see if he opts to throw it up. It's not a good start. Up it goes. Duffy and Smith. Finger-tipper from Smith. Comes to Camrick. He feeds out. Just bursting through was Bowden. Sees something he likes and spots it up. That's James Webb. Good start for the Pies. They enter forward 50. A deep entry. Camrick the target. Off hands. Bouncing to the back. Bowden of the Tyler variety. Just keeping things moving. Trickling out. Ball to be brought back in. So sharp start for the Pies.
So first foray forward for Glenorchy as the rucks go at it. Here's Grace lurking at the back, couldn't gather cleanly. Lauderdale player will go in after it as bodies converge. It'll be held in for a ball up inside the forward 50. Glenorchy looking to draw first blood, which would be extremely handy for them as the rucks go at it. It's tapped over the back in the Sutton direction. He just gets a scrappy kick out. It's only as far as Butterworth, I think it was. He kicks inside 50 and finds a target, and they will have the first shot of the match.
Well, I think this is all important, Chris. We've spoken about their outs, and if they can have a sharp start and build some confidence in the group, there's still every chance.
So opening shot on goal for the Pies. Looks pretty good off the boot, and it is. It's Adam Roberts who kicks the first for Glenorchy. And what a start for the Pies here at KG5.
Fantastic finishing that from Adam Roberts. Presented up well, took the grab, and they've got just what they needed. We've talked about their outs, but they're a club, Glenorchy, that will just keep on fighting, and some of these depth get a good opportunity today. And a player like Adam Roberts, who probably wasn't still in the side anyway, he needs to step up, and that's a good start for his confidence and the team's. So Glenorchy, the first goal of the day, 1 straight 6. Lauderdale had to venture it out of their defensive half. Up it goes again. Smith and Duffy. Duffy down. Camrick back for Duffy. Just squeezes out a kick. Racing from the back half was Sutton. Didn't lay claim to it. Camrick, he's been in hot form. He just swings this one in. On to Bowden. Fisted away from him. Coming was Roberts. Picked up by James Webb. Finds space when there was none. And he took a little too long, and Trupp will bring this one out. As a terrific tackle from Franklin to cause the ruckus. Back in it goes. That was Butterworth. Fisted down from Raglione. Tyler Bowden again. Raglione tries to help it out. He's got Banksmith for company. And it's seen out. Still in the forward half for Glenorchy. Good start. Ben Camrick with a few touches there, Ro.
Yeah, and we mentioned him early. He's going to have a big game. He's going to have to get his hands on the footy plenty of times in the absence of some of those big midfielders. As it comes in again, it was Alex Hill doing the ruck work. Camrick once more, fed out a handball, was only as far as his Lauderdale counterpart. Kick up towards the wing. Smith and Duffy go at it. Nobody able to win the contest. Fed out back to Butterworth, whose kick slews off the side of his left boot. It's out of bounds on the full.
So a pressurised start, really, this.
Glenorchy with all the attacking early, very early days, but 2 early forays forward. As McGuinness will look to bring it in. Kicks up beyond a wing. Players will fly. Nobody able to take the mark, and it spills out of bounds off the hands of Ben McGuinness. In those familiar long sleeves today.
Flying mullet.
So right in front of our commentary position here at KG5, the weather holding off, which is good news for us as Smith and Duffy go at it. Camrick lurking, waiting for it to pop out. Calls for holding the ball. And the player in Bowden is immediately claimed. So another stoppage here on centre wing. Some push and shove on and off the ball. Up they go again. Smith tried to take it out of the ruck, couldn't take it cleanly. Bowden might have been held at ground level. Umpire said play on. He's dragged off it, as was Banksmith. They emerged with it eventually through Camrick. Another touch for him. We'll have Camrick watch on today. He's had a lot of it early. Ball chased towards the boundary. I think it was Daly. And we'll have a boundary throw in at left half forward for the Pies.
Just seems the consummate professional Ben Camrick, taking his game to another level, and he's the sort of type, when you're talking about the under-25 team coming up, he's the sort of type that could and probably should get an opportunity as it comes back in again. Reeves off hands, picked up by Bell Chambers, then to Franklin, off to Burge, but he was under the pump straight away. Fortunately for the giver in Franklin, he caught one high, so Burge out of the back half. A lazy old kick, but it will find its intended target in Sutton. Sutton looks ahead, finds Bell Chambers, thought about going, didn't in the end. Spun around and found McGuinness. He loves a running handball. Just delivers long and high in the Saunders direction. Great kick. Saunders wastes no time. Pedal to the metal. Shoots it. Goal. Offline. A minor score.
So Gunther with the kicking duties. He's actually got the captain's armband today. His kick-in was spilt by a geared. Kieran Ewer will pounce immediately. Flying shot on goal. Misses. A couple of early little attacking plays from Lauderdale after John Geard spilt the beans and got an injury at ground level.
Cam Duffy looks in serious discomfort. The Pies just can't take a trick.
Get you to keep an eye on that as McKnight looks to play on a cross goal. He does so, finds a target in Camrick, who's in the right back pocket for Glenorchy. He kicks up towards the wing. There's a tussle between two of the big men. I think it was Salter and Hill. It eventually spills out to Saunders. Has Siggins going past. Little kick inside 50. Wasn't bad for Burge. He took it on the gather but was tackled immediately. Bowden will track it. He'll hack it off the ground. It might spill out to a black and white jumper. Gilby came through, fed it back to Smith and just hoiks it forward in the McGuinness direction. He went back with the flight, unable to take the mark. Butterworth held. Umpire says no, it'll spill out of bounds deep in Lauderdale's forward 50.
He's pinged a free kick in the finish, so it's going to go the way of the Magpies, and they'll make their way out again through Ben Camrick. Running hot. Delivers a little chipping ball over the top to find Daly. Daly, measured pass, a good one. Finds its target in Bailey Bester. Bester, not his best kick, a little wobbler. Sells Tyler Bowden short, but Bowden good enough to mop up. He'll come back in now, looking for Grace, falls short. Reeves makes a contest, numbers with Lauderdale, spinning around and kicking long. There's a decent effort and it's well collected by Sam Siggins. So they'll cool the jets here, Lauderdale. Been a cagey old start. Delivers a high ball, looking at the Ben McGuinness direction, couldn't gather. Off hands, it was Butterworth, squeezes out a kick. Jay Bowden kicking long inside 50, and it's mopped up and mopped up well by Jeremiah Perkins. He looks in the Hayden Smith direction, again spoiled, play goes on, guess who, Ben Camrick, measured ball, terrific. Finds its target, but it was off hands. Bailey Bester now, Goalwood, not quite, as Trupp, the goalkeeper, collects.
Plays on wide, finds a target in Alex Hill. Marks in the back pocket. He's got something on short in Elliott. So Elliott a long way up the ground. He kicks up beyond a wing, one-on-one contest. Nobody able to win the contest. In fact, there was a free kick for high, and Lauderdale have been paid the advantage through Walsh. McGuinness will fly, couldn't take the mark. Kieran Ewer will swoop. How clean can he be? He was tackled before he had it. He'll earn a free kick for in the back. So just a little bit keen was Trad Duggan. Fell into the back of Kieran Ewer. He'll be right on his range here. Perhaps even a little bit too far out. It's not a penetrating long kick. In fact, he has a target short in Bell Chambers, who, when unchecked, he'll gain 10 metres, but slightly just increase the angle.
You said Kieran Ewer not a penetrating long kick. Well, Bell Chambers is. The angle, as I said, we'll ask serious questions of him though.
So Phil Bell Chambers, in he comes for Lauderdale. That looked pretty sweet off the boot. It looked to be drifting across the face, but it finds its intended target. And Lauderdale hit the scoreboard.
Now that's a sweetly struck set shot. As you look at the replay, Ro, it's never really looked like missing. He made a fool of us. We thought the angle might test him. Didn't at all. Really sharp finish, and I was just trying before that forward foray, trying to get a gauge on the wind and whether it's playing any sort of part in this game. Unfortunately, we don't have any flags here at KG5. We need some flags because I tell you what, it's always impossible to work out what's going on in terms of breeze.
Yeah.
It's generally a factor though, so we're back in the middle. Lauderdale take the lead. 2 points as it stands, 10 and change gone. Up it goes. It was one down by Grant. At the fall was James Webb. He tussles with Williams, just keeps it moving. Webb. Callan Daly does well, drops it off. A little one inboard is good. And it's Roberts again. He's on the scoreboard. He found some separation from Hill, and he'll line up for his second.
Cam Duffy still on the bench.
Not good for the Magpies as Roberts crosses the paint out to the right a little with a shimmy. It's coming left and it stays left. A minor score.
Distance not an issue for Adam Roberts, who looks to have a very nice technique down bat. As Trupp plays on immediately, brings it out from full back. Fizz came, here is Roberts, gathers the loose footy, back to back Smith. He's got a player in Rundle who kicks towards 50. It was a sloppy old kick, but it almost found its target. In fact, it will on the bounce. Daly tried to bite off more than he could chew, just fed out the handball. Smith into the back of his opponent in Bank Smith. Umpire said play on. But it'll be all wrapped up for a throw up, ball up. The left half forward flank for the Pies. It's 1-1-7. Lauderdale leading by a point, 1-8. Pies picked out a free kick. Advantage has been paid to John Geard, who, I tell you what, has gone off the left boot across the face. It wasn't a score because Tyler Bowden floated across and took the mark, and he'll shoot for goal from a tight angle.
It looked really good to start with that Geared shot. It's worked out in the end for the Magpies. If you're Paul Kennedy, you're pretty happy with his start so far, especially if Tyler Bowden can squeeze one through here.
So Bowden runs around, helps himself to the left foot check side, and it's all good. Glenorchy get their second. A nice bit of work from Tyler Bowden. 2-1-13 the Pies. Lauderdale 1-2-8.
Yeah, no, fantastic finish. He was happy about it too. Back into this senior Glenorchy side. We know he went to Claremont last year and back in and having an impact. He can be a really good foil at times for his brother in the forward half. Of course, Jay Bowden playing a different sort of role today, but he is a capable player in the forward half, especially if you pump it in long and deep and just ask him to clunk as they did on that occasion. So a good goal. Glenorchy take back the lead. Only a slender one at this point. Bounce down in the middle. It's Grant in the middle, rucking at the moment as Duffy's off the ground, squeezing out a kick or attempting to. It was Rundle. He ran out of time, so it's Phil Bell Chambers' ball. Lauderdale's only goal kicker looking in the Elliott direction. Gets 2 mitts to it. Didn't complete the transaction. Coming through was McManus. He was tackled without it. No free from the umpire. Camrick found Reeves. Reeves did well to shimmy aside. Looking in the Tyler Bowden direction. Couldn't bring down. Raglione just soccers it out. Tyler Bowden keeps it moving, kicks towards the square, and that's an excellent defensive punch from Josh McGuinness. Quality on the last line.
Still getting forward though, Glenorchy. And pressing. They hold a slender advantage in this one. As McGuinness brings it out, Elliott was the target, but he was easily dealt with in the end, and Reeves just took the easy mark. Pops one inside 50. That's a wonderful ball to Bowden. Picked out his man, and Bowden met it in the hands. And gee, you'd all just about mark this one down.
Well,
Jay Bowden 40 metres out directly in front.
Sorry, right? Yeah, well, you would. You absolutely would. And I tell you what, you watched the replay there just a second ago. They just both saw that space, that little pocket, and it's well executed kick and a great lead. And well, you back Jay Bowden to finish the business.
So Bowden, as he's done so many times before, keeps this one low. Umpire didn't really have to work. He kicks his first. Glenorchy have their third. And they open up a 2-goal lead here at KG5.
Yeah, so back-to-back Bowden goals, one from Tyler, one from Jay, and it's really swung Glenorchy's way, this contest. It's a handy little buffer to start what we thought would be a blockbuster game. Glenorchy severely undermanned, it must be said. And, geez, I don't think Darren Winter would be too happy with the way things are unfolding at this point in time.
I think if you told PK that Glenorchy had kicked 3 of the first 4 goals of the game, and with Duffy off the field, I think he would have taken that in a heartbeat. As we go back into the middle, Bell Chambers was ripped off it. They're looking for a clearance here again, Glenorchy, and they're going to find it. Kick inside 50 is a good one, and their movement forward has been impressive so far. Aiden Grace from 55, he liked his chances, but there's no one home. It'll be picked off easily back in the square by Hill. Plays on immediately. So Lauderdale just hoping to retain a little bit of possession here. Bell Chambers has it now. He goes a little wider to Sutton. And this is where they're falling down, across half back. They manage to run away with it now, as Franklin marks in the middle of the ground. Sees something he likes wide. Kick wasn't fantastic though, and it's picked off by a black and white jumper. So ball back in the hands of the Pies.
I think it's that man Gunther, of course, leadership duties today. He kicks long in the Reeves direction. Oh, up he goes, McManus. That's a great grab. Just got a little bit of leverage and took it. Delivers out for Sutton now, spins around, good kick, finds his target. It's Francis. So Francis, just a little chipping ball. Elliott. He's been working up the ground. He delivers in the Gilby direction. Hasn't seen too much of the footy. Gilby from the pocket, a bouncing tumbler. Tell you what, it was delightfully finished off, but unfortunately the whistle went and it was out of play. So Gilby denied what would have been an instant moment on the highlight reel. So the ball to be thrown in forward, 50 for Lauderdale. They haven't seen too much action inside their arc. Comes against Siggins this time in the ruck with Reeves. Falls down, shaking off was Heavey. Out the back is Gurgel. Just gets a kick out, off hands, through for a minor score. So 3-2-20 plays 1-3-9. We're 17 and change gone, Chris Rowbottom.
So Glenorchy, the lead here on their home deck. Everything going to plan thus far as they bring it in again. Siggins was involved in the contest. He brought it down in front. Scrimmage out on the outer side. It'll fall out to Raglione. Now back to Franklin. Fires out a handball to Sutton. Kick inside 50. Wasn't bad. Walsh took it flying through. He played on immediately. Flying shot on goal was pretty good, Bryce Walsh. And Lauderdale have their second.
Well, that was a fantastic finish, really. It wasn't even meant for him, the ball. We'll see the replay in a minute, but he just came through and immediately liked what he saw in terms of the goals. So he just picks it off. It was actually meant for Elliott. He's at the races straight away. Eyes off the goals and threads the needle. Terrific finish. Exactly what you want from your leaders. And it's a good response for Lauderdale. They've made the most of not too many forays into the forward 50. Just looking for Cam Duffy. He's getting some attention. He's got his knee iced up. That is not a good sign at all as we're back in the middle. Grant doing the ruck work. Falls down for his opposing ruckman. This time it's Siggins. Delivers out. It's asks a bit of Burge, who has to sit under it. Karen Newell lost his footing but found the football. Out for Bryce Walsh, squeezes out a kick before Rundle dealt with him. Williams juggles it over. Boundary throwing.
So 5 points in this one. Glenorchy 3-2-20 lead. Lauderdale 2-3-15. A big injury concern for the Pies. Duffy, their number one ruck, currently getting attention on the sidelines as the ball is thrown in. It'll be a Glenorchy clearance. In fact, it won't, as Smith is clean ripped off the footy by Karanewa.
He's a good player, isn't he?
Certainly is. Puts one inside 50 in the Elliott direction. He came late. He couldn't take the mark. Heavey was at ground level. Fed out a handball. Big tackle late on McGuinness.
High.
And it's been called high. So McGuinness will fire for the lead for Lauderdale.
It was plucked out from the non-officiating umpire there, Rowe, just off the, so I think it was a matter of sort of where you were in the perception. It didn't look particularly high from where we sit.
So these ones are contentious Australia-wide, aren't they? The ducking as you're going for the footy and leading with the head, whether or not they're being classed as high tackles anymore, as McGuinness makes his way in. Distance shouldn't be too much of an issue. He just hangs it out, but it looks pretty good. He just fed it inside the left-hand goalpost, and McGuinness kicks truly for the Bombers.
Well, it's one thing he historically hasn't done fantastically. He needs a few sort of siders usually, Ben McGuinness, but that was a wonderful finish in the end. I agreed with your summation at the time. I probably thought it was going to fade, but it just stayed there enough to sneak home. So in the blink of an eye, Lauderdale lead this one. A 1-point margin. Dying embers of the first term. Glenorchy, for all their good work, behind. So back in the middle once more. That's Lauderdale in a nutshell. They are an explosive team when they're going Grant straight down, going nowhere. They'll be rinse and repeat in the middle. Am I seeing things, or was Geared wearing a long sleeve before and has now ditched it?
He has ditched the longie.
It's down from Smith. There is that man Geared. He just forces out the footy. Coming through was Josh McGuinness. Geez, he's a good footballer, Josh McGuinness, on the non. Picks out Josh Williams. Wants to go back into the corridor, does. Just slipping through the fingers of Walsh. That's a shocker of a handball. Invites in Daly. Siggins there to butter up. One way, then the other. Then at the feet of Francis. Shakes off the would-be tackler. Delivering inside forward 50. Ben McGuinness! Chopping the arms. It's going to be a Ben McGuinness ball. Tell you what, I just sense this could be one of those flying mullet days where he just kicks a bag.
Starting to have an impact, and he's slow to rise to his feet. In fact,
blood rule's
been called.
Oh, well, that's a real stinger. So I wanted to see him put one away. When he's confident and coming out and presenting like he is so far in this game, it's a joy to watch. And you can see why he had AFL interest in his draft year. So Phil Bell-Chambers will take the opportunity. Best and fairest winner last year for Lauderdale Bombers. Phil Bell-Chambers, one on the board already. Powering kick, and he makes absolutely no mistake. Straight through the hey diddle diddle, and Lauderdale, well, they've got a very handy lead, considering for the best part of the quarter, they've been second best.
They certainly have. Glenorchy started beautifully, had all the forward forays were attacking like their lives depended on it early, but all of a sudden Lauderdale pegged things back and lead by 7 points there. 4-3-27, Glenorchy 3-2-20 late in this first term. In the second half of the term, they certainly belong to the red and black. As we go back into the middle of the ground, Glenorchy would love a red time goal here just to get back level with Lauderdale to finish off the quarter. The ball's not going anywhere anytime soon. We'll have a restart in the middle of KG5. Blue skies all around for the moment, Damian Gill.
Yeah, lovely day for footy.
The two rucks go at it, Grant and Smith won it down. A scrappy kick fell off the chest of Saunders. It's picked up by Smith for Glenorchy, who just tumbles a high ball forward, looking for Roberts. It'll evade him, trickle out of bounds though. We'll have a boundary throw in at right half forward for the Pies, who trail by 7 points.
Bryce Walsh has really got into this game, starting to find a lot of the footy, and I think that's been one of the big changes in the contest. Around the footy, Lauderdale are starting to flex their muscle.
Got a really big and strong on-ball brigade. This one's one down. Glenorchy will try and move it forward, a little tumbler. Might even be out of bounds on the full. In fact, it is. So Lauderdale free kick just to release a little bit of the pressure. So the Bombers currently sit atop the TSL table, looking to improve their record this afternoon. Here is that man Walsh, just busting through a tackle, scraps the footy forward, was looking for Franklin, gathered at half back for Glenorchy, who just trying to muster something late. McGuinness off half back, back to Walsh. Handball was missed. They move it forward here, Lauderdale. Saunders will gather the loose footy. Back again now to Siggins. He got it off to Williams. Walsh is there, ripped off the footy. Calls of ball. Geared, fed it up. Now it's the Pies through the middle of the ground. Nice kick, was a good one to Grace. He goes short inboard, didn't quite hit the target. Rundle got it back. Pies go forward now. It's all Lauderdale. Big fly at the back. It was ineffective. Gets to ground level. Can they muster here? Lauderdale defence under the pump. Scrappy kick towards the boundary. It'll be kept alive by Banks Smith. Tried to feed it back to Rundle, but to no avail.
So a 7-point margin for the Bombers, away from home at KG5. Glenorchy with the early running, but the Red Hot Bombers have fought back in a big way in the back end of this quarter. It's right into the ground for the Maggies at this point in time as it comes on in without their regular ruckman. Duffy, who is injured, is down for the runners. It was Sam Siggins who gathered, fed out. Sutton couldn't find his target. Gunther now has to just cop a tackle, and he does. So it'll be a ball up again. Looks like Harrison Gunther might have even got a fresh cut for the captain duties. Looking very sharp in the hairstyle department as Trupp feeds out at the back. It was Josh McGuinness. Claimed it with one hand, virtually just threw it out. Grace was clattered into. Out comes a Smith handball, but Camrick was there to be the recipient, delivering long into the pocket. Off hands of Robbie McManus, and out it goes.
So pressing late here, the Pies. Can they find a late goal? Just so their early work isn't completely undone. They'd love to be neck and neck going into quarter time. Rucks go at it. No clear winner of the tap. Daly's there lurking. Camrick came swooping through. Got his kick away. Is it good? It's high. It's a goal. Wonderful work from Camrick, who bulleted his way through the contest. Gathered the loose footy. Took on a tackler. Kicked as he was tackled. And that's the goal Glenorchy needed. They're back to within a point. Lauderdale 4-3-27. Glenorchy 4-2-26.
Well, he's been the man of the first quarter for Glenorchy, no question about it. And he's just taken his game to another level. You can't not be impressed with his work in 2019. He's gone from being a bit part player to really a leader of their midfield. Fantastic stuff from Ben Camrick. And that was just an opportunistic effort. Just found a little bit of space, kept on hustling and bustling, and in the end threw it on the boot and found the middle. So well done, Ben Camrick, and this is well and truly a contest at KG5 as we're back in the middle. Reeves and Smith. Smith won the hit out. Goes the way of Lauderdale. Saunders coming through, just got the ball out. Siggins now tries to just ride a tackle. He's not happy about the afters either. Might be reversed. No, it's still going the way of the Magpies, but he was not happy at all with the treatment that followed. So they'll bring it out of defence. And that is sloppy stuff. Really sloppy stuff off the boot of Trad Duggan. It's going to come back the way of Lauderdale. It's with Gilby. Been pretty quiet. Hasn't been near him too often. Measures a ball. It was a diving fist that saw it away from the Lauderdale target. There's a whistle as Karen Newell looks to march on into an open goal. He'll have to come back as it's a Glenorchy free kick. It's going to be a McKnight ball. So McKnight long onto the wing. It's all Josh McGuinness. Puts it straight down his throat like it was meant for him. The leader of this Lauderdale outfit, co-captain with Bryce Walsh. Long and high and looking for his brother. Just down off hands. Out the back, the crumb fell to Bryce Walsh. Manufactures a shot, but it's offline. Minor score. It'll extend the margin to 2 points as we finish the first term. A fascinating quarter, Chris Rowbottom.
Certainly was. Glenorchy got the early jump, but the second half of the term belonged to Lauderdale before that man being Camrick. Kicked a late goal for Glenorchy, and for me he's been a bit of a lone hand in the Glenorchy midfield so far. Ben Camrick seems to be thriving on the extra responsibility. It's like he said to himself, all right, a couple of our big guns are out, here's my chance to really put my name in lights, and he appears to be doing that. He probably would have had 10 touches and a goal in that first term. Going head to head with Bryce Walsh, who was very good also. Bill Chambers was very good too. But probably needs a little bit of support. I think apart from the fast start that Glenorchy had, the quarter ultimately belonged to Lauderdale in the end. And it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out in the second term.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see right there the scoreboard. It is a tight one. 2 points, the margin at quarter time. We'll have a brief break from commentary and be back for the second term shortly. Stay with us.
To the left foot check side, and it's all good. So many times before, keeps this one right. Umpire didn't really have to work. He gets it through. Inside 50 wasn't that. But he could fly through, played on the penalty. Runs still on goal. Lauderdale have their second. Got his kick away. Is it good? It's high. It's a goal. Wonderful.
So back with the second term here from KG5. A lovely day for footy. Sun's out and we've got a hot contest. As we have a brief break at quarter time. It's Glenorchy 4-2-26, Lauderdale 4-4-28, a 2-point margin. And Glenorchy were very good for a large part of that quarter, Chris Rowbottom, but Lauderdale, we saw, I guess, a showcase of why they're such a fearsome team. Their firepower inside 50, they've got so many options and they can put goals on you quickly. Yeah, well, a good start was essential for Glenorchy. They really needed to hit the scoreboard early. Reece Mott laid out in this game, Josh Arnold as well, and then about midway through the first quarter, they lost the ruckman big Cameron Duffy. So we wait to see how his fitness is, but it didn't look good. He hobbled off and he had some ice around his knee, I think. So let's hope for Glenorchy's sake that he's good to go. But Lauderdale hit back and they took advantage of
no Duffy in the ruck. Their midfield started to get on top, despite the efforts of Ben Camerick, who was wonderful, and we mentioned in the first term, Bryce Walsh was great, Phil Bell-Chambers was good, Kerryn Ewer was lurking up forward and looked dangerous, McGuinness came into the game up forward as well, and Lauderdale just started to get on top. They've only got a 2-point lead in this game, but if Glenorchy don't tighten a few things up and maybe get a bit of midfield support for Camerick, things could go further in Lauderdale's direction in this second term.
Yeah, they did so much good work to be 2 points adrift. It still just looms for Glenorchy. I think they're going to need a really solid start at this second term. Cam Duffy looks very unlikely to play any further part as we see him hobble his way over. He's got ice on his knee and he looks in pretty serious discomfort. So Glenorchy make their way out of the huddle. They've got it to do, really. 2 points adrift of Lauderdale, and they've got to come out and really flex their muscle. Their goal kickers, they had 4 separate goal kickers, and I guess that's one thing I was thinking at the quarter-time break, is Aiden Grace is someone they'd like to get more involved in the contest. Rowie, we've seen in the early rounds, he's been a real handful inside forward 50. If they can just get him a bit of separation, they'll fancy themselves.
We see it often, don't we, that a player starts the season so well and really elevates himself into the next echelon of player, but then come round 6, round 7, the attention starts to come on them, and maybe Lauderdale are just a little bit extra tuned in to what Aiden Grace can produce, because his start to the season's been electric. So his challenge now is to respond to the extra attention and prove that he's not just going to explode in the start of the season, he's going to carry it through for 18 or 20 games. So really looking forward to seeing how he responds. He wasn't bad in that first term, mind you. He got his hands on the footy a couple of times. But 2 or 3 goals will be certainly required from him if Glenorchy are going to win this match. It's a big task ahead as well for Sam Reeves, who's in the ruck as well, and also Grant, who's going to be changing with him.
I guess that's the only thing with Duffy out. They do have some good tools in their side, luckily, so they won't lose too much as Reeves is in the middle, and we start this second term straight down to Camerick. We spoke a lot about. He's really impressed. Wrestling for the footy. It'll be straight. It'll be a restart virtually, right in the bullseye. Darren Winter doing some coaching from the boundary, which is interesting to see, as Aidan Smith, I think it was. Oh no, sorry. It wasn't. They're going the other way now. Lauderdale, as they bring it out of defence. It's a long raking boot from McManus. Kerryn Ewer is down. Gilby soccering. Bouncing ball looking for Elliott. He was led in the foot race by McKnight. They work it out well. Gunther saw something he liked, and a long boot onto the wing. Jay Bowden. That's what he does. Just eats marks like that up. Not a heap presenting for Jay Bowden. So he just nudges to Sam Rundle. He had a little pocket, but he was tight against the boundary. Good enough to make the kick is Jay Bowden. Now he wants to head into the corridor, Rundle. Good kick. Finds Bank Smith, wastes no time. He heads in the Grant direction and finds him with silver service.
Yeah, good build-up from Glenorchy there. Jay Bowden, good hands to have it in on centre wing. He could have bitten off it more than he could chew by going inboard early. He had a couple of options, but just thought against it. Went down the line to Rundle, and Rundle was the one to hit the target inside, and Banksmith did really well.
So Josh Grant, a very handy utility in this Glenorchy side forward at the moment. Spent a bit of time there this year, but he's just kicked like a backman. Out to the right, a minor score.
That's a spray right. So a minor score for the Pies. 4-3-27. Lauderdale 4-4-28. This one kicked out towards the outer side. Big Smith takes it, wraps it up, shrugs off a tackle, wins out a handball. He's got Sutton running past. He tries to gather the footy, beats 2 Pies to it and feeds it back to McGuinness, whose kick was smothered partly, and it'll trickle out of bounds. A long way from the action up here in the tower when it's on the outer side, it must be said. But we'll soldier on. So boundary throw in. Here's Reeves and Smith doing the ruck work. Smith palmed it down in front of him looking for a runner. Eventually it was McGuinness who emerged with the footy. He lopes along the wing, kicks up towards half forward. Mark unable to be taken by McGuinness. And it's seen out of bounds once again, directly in front of the scoreboard, which reads Lauderdale 4-4-28. 1 point to the good over Glenorchy here at KG5, 4-3-27. Early doors, second term. So in it comes. Once again, Smith, front position. No clean winner of the tap. Nobody able to win a clean possession. It's all wrapped up once again. We'll have another stoppage at the right half forward flank for the Pies. Up they go. Big fist forward from Smith. And as far as Bowden, who just kicks around the corner. Tumbling ball up beyond a wing. One-on-one duel up there. Players arrive. It's going to be locked in once again for another stoppage.
We've seen this a little bit at games at KG5. There's a bit of a swirling breeze happening right now. Stoppage heavy games. As it comes to Bell Chambers, he couldn't quite squeeze out the ball. It's got out somehow. Camerick now. Tumbling ball forward high. Us plenty. These Glenorchy forwards. Grace good enough to just eye it off out the back. Off his boot. It trickles out of play, so it'll be a throw in. But they've gained valuable meterage there. Glenorchy. So they're trailing this one just by a point. Ball to be thrown in. And just on the 50. And in it comes. Grant doing the ruck work at the moment. Got best position. Got it down to Camerick. Could have almost cried for high. Daly held without it. No free kick coming. Siggins long. Boot, but it was straight to Smith of the opposition. It was all on his own, so they didn't have much ahead of the footy there, Lauderdale. Smith a little nudgy ball, and they'll work it out now, Glenorchy. Reeves on the end of a handball. Oh, he's got himself in a horrible spot. Now it's Sutton. Reeves good enough to come back and just jump on the footy to kill what would have been a counter-attack for the Lauderdale Bombers. Pretty scrappy start to this second term as it ticks beyond 5 minutes. Reeves now down again. Siggins emerges but gives it straight to the opposition. Camerick long and high. Invites a Grace fly. From the back it was Bester almost. Picked up by Daly. He's a crafty small forward. Feeds out the footy. It'll be wrapped up. The stoppage just outside the paint of 50. It's Jay Bowden with the ball. So plenty of stoppages early in this second term as Grant back in the ruck again. Tapped it down. Running through was Bowden. Picks up the footy now. Shakes off one. Just tried to hurry it inside forward 50. Ball was blocked. It was gathered by Arundel. He dropped it off for James Webb. Been pretty quiet. Now for Bank Smith. Back for James Webb. Trying to find some space. It's at a premium today. Gets it to Bank Smith. Creative over the back. Lauderdale with the numbers. They should work it out. Raglione now. The ball into the corridor. Kiranua, the only one in red and black. It'll come back with heat. It comes in the direction of Malucci. Loses his footing. In trouble now, Malucci. Virtually threw it out. Grace now tight in the pocket. Swings it back into the middle. Should be dealt with by Lauderdale. Siggins a cool head. Finds Sutton. They'll race away.
So Sutton into the middle of the ground. Missed the target. Glenorchy have the numbers. It was tackled immediately by Saunders. Kiranua got one in the back. Umpire said play on. Players arrive as it's held up in the middle of the ground. As Glenorchy press, they've set up the wall. And Lauderdale just unable to penetrate it as they're exiting the back 50. Rucks go at it once again. Only as far down as Walsh now on the left boot. Kicks towards half forward. McGuinness got one in the back. Umpire said play on. Rebounded out now into the arms of Geared. Ditch the long sleeve as the Mercury rises. Little kick up the line was good for Grace. He copped one around the ear.
That's a good mark.
And he managed to hold the ball despite really good pressure. So he wheels around onto the left. Kick towards 50. Fly over the top. Came. Nobody able to take the mark. Siggins couldn't gather cleanly. Ball to be won at ground level. That's in the back. So Glenorchy have the footy as Webb just concedes a little bit of ground, looking for a better entry. And a chance here for the Pies. Kick deep inside the forward pocket. The big fist came from Alex Hill, and it's out of bounds. Interesting little period here.
Yeah, it's really contested footy, isn't it? It's, as I said before, time and space at a real premium, and yeah, we saw a bit from Trupp before with that ear massage, what sort of pressure both teams are applying.
So when it comes, nobody able to win a clean possession. It's bobbling around at ground level. Little kick out of there, unable to be affected by Grant. Bell-Chambers emerged with the footy. Siggins slapped it forward, looking for Heavey. He was ridden into the ground. Umpire said, play on. Ball still bobbling around at ground level. Walsh feeds it out to Bell-Chambers, who got rid of a tackler. Was looking for Walsh again. He took a man without the ball. It was Gunther. Umpire said, yeah, that was holding the man. Walsh is dealt with after the fact. Won't trouble him too much though. The hard nut, this Lauderdale team, and that's a poor kick for Siggins, who was unable to get there. It's Glenorchy waste half a chance. It spills out of bounds.
So 1 point margin, no real scoring, only a minor score in this quarter as the ball comes back in again. Siggins just over the back, just rode on his opposing ruckman, and that's a terrific tumbling punt, but it's just going to fall awkwardly. McKnight read it better than Smith, who wanted it out the back. Unfortunately, an errant kick lets in Heavey. So Lauderdale now still with an opportunity. Gilby with good separation on his defender. Probably could have had the ball a little closer range. The kick wasn't fantastic. Gilby looking inboard to see whether he can find someone with an easier shot at goal. I've seen Jacob Gilby, a prominent goal kicker, permanent forward really for the Lauderdale Bombers. Got himself really fit this pre-season. He's lining up. Couple of strides in the centre. He's played on, gives it a ride. He's read the wind pretty well, but he's just caught the post on the way through. It was a pretty good kick for goal. Margin back to 2 points.
So Lauderdale 4-5-29, lead Glenorchy 4-3-27. Geared has it in defence for the Pies. Looks to run it out. Elects to go short into the pocket. They play on, looking for something. Back to Geared. He sees something here. Just overcooked the kick for Malucci. Let's Burge in for Lauderdale. Low ball inside 50, unable to hit a target. Wonderful hands over the head. Spills out to Heavey, who had a shot on goal, and it just misses to the right-hand side.
Does indeed, but just a nice little period here for Lauderdale. If they can just keep them hemmed in.
So the forward pressure on the Bombers. Short kick is good. Out of full back to Rundle for the Pies. Now maybe can he create something? He had Brennan on short. Elects to go longer than that. He might have just picked out a Lauderdale player. In fact, he has. Umpire, well, I thought he paid the mark. Came out to Burge, who kicked a high ball, and it'll be out of bounds on the full.
I think he did pay the mark, but the Lauderdale player quickly played on. He's a bit unsure.
So Reeves went back into defence. They've made a meal of this Glenorchy, and they get lucky with a holding free kick. So back across goal they come, just looking to work things out. McKnight gets on the right-hand side, on his right boot. Has Roberts, who has space now on a wing. He goes short for Daly. Kick is good. So Pies building now. He's got Grace leading into a pocket. Kick needed to be better than that. It'll spill out of bounds. And that's an opportunity gone begging. Grace made really good ground to get to a good spot. Callan Daly unable to hit the target.
It's unlike Callan Daly. Quality player in this Glenorchy outfit. It's a real arm wrestle. I'm enjoying it. He comes in again. Tyler Bowden doing the ruck work this time up against Alex Hill. He taps down. Gathering was Franklin. Gave it to Bell-Chambers, who was under the pump from the get-go. Bell-Chambers a little stiff there because it was the giver really who made the error. So it's a Rundle ball, terrific tackle. That is a shocking kick, but off hands at Bell-Chambers. It's led in Tyler Bowden on the outside of the boot. Bowden? No, not Jay. It's Tyler.
Not a bad finish that from the big fella.
That was unbelievable from Tyler Bowden. He's watched his brother do similar things many a time here at KG5, and a little special of his own.
It's one of the best places in Tasmanian football to kick a goal from as well, right in front of the members or the wet area here at KG5, because, gee, they get into it here at Glenorchy, especially when a big fella kicks a big check side goal like that. Tyler Bowden, take a bow. Wonderful finish for the Pies, and more importantly, they're back in front by 3 points. 5-3-33 to Lauderdale 4-6-30. As Tyler gets the headset on and has a chat to PK, who no doubt would have been saying, hey, you're not supposed to do that. But well done. So back in the middle we go. Lauderdale need to hit back. Bell Chambers trying hard. Umpire says we'll have a restart, please.
This is a great contest, Chris Rowbottom.
Certainly is. Two teams who are certainly leaving nothing out there as it stands. It's hacked off the ground. Like I said, kicking in danger.
Geez, they're a rarity these days, in danger free kicks.
I think they've crept back into the game a little bit. I've seen a few paid over the last few weeks. There's a couple of players go at it. Surprise, surprise, Bryce Walsh is involved. The umpire just says, break it up, lads. Jay Bowden there, emerging too. So
50.
Hayden Smith has the ball, and a 50-metre penalty has been conceded by Glenorchy, and Coach Kennedy would be ropeable.
I think it'd be. I'm guessing it was Jay Bowden for not leaving the area or coming too close. Those protected zone free kicks are such a lottery.
He was a clean skin, Jay Bowden, so you wouldn't generally expect that from him. But he looks to have conceded the 50, and more importantly, the shot on goal for Hayden Smith, the big ruckman, to regain the lead for his Bombers. He ambles on in. The kick looks pretty good. He raises the fist. He gets in the face of his opponent, and he says, we're back in front, boys.
Well, that really, really hurts. They've lost the lead. They've surrendered the lead there, Glenorchy, and it was out of something that was just ill-discipline, really. Didn't think through it, I don't think, Jay Bowden, that he just strolled really close to the mark. I must admit I'm not a massive fan of the protected zone free kicks. They're a frustration in footy, but it's a rule, so you just got to be mindful of it. And let's in Hayden Smith, who I must say is an unheralded player, but he is a darn good one for Lauderdale. And he really makes a mistake inside 50 when he gets an opportunity. He's got the Bombers back in front here at KG5. Bounce down, it favours Grant. And we'll have another go of it. Do I even need to say Chris Rowbottom?
No, you don't.
You just got to bin it, don't you? There's not too many excellent exponents of it. I don't blame the umpires as it's down from Smith. There's a tackle off the ball. Advantage paid, and Camrick just bounds away, kicking in the Bowden direction of the Tyler variety. Off hands almost for Bester. Emerging was Perkins. Kicks back, and they have a discussion between themselves before Rundle takes the grab. A nice measured ball for Bester. Well done by Jeremiah Perkins. Gets in and fists away. Now gathered by Bell Chambers, who gave it a Burge. A grubby old kicks worked. It's found Saunders. Saunders now for Ben McGuinness. Straight onto his chest. He's got Gilby in a panic if he sees him. Ben McGuinness plays on off to the left. Long raking boot, I think was meant for Heavey. I'm not sure it was a shot, but it ends in a point.
He had Gilby running by on his left-hand side. He just didn't quite make enough ground to get himself in a good enough position to receive. But that's a chance gone begging for Lauderdale. There's a little bit of indecision here out of fullback for Glenorchy. Eventually just kick it to Bowden. It's always a pretty good call. He doesn't take the mark on this occasion, though. As McManus came through, might have got Daly high, evades a couple of tackles, feeds one out to Gunther. He kicks up towards the wing. Grace will fly from the back, couldn't quite hang on. Brings it to ground. Daly gathers and is tackled. Things are all wrapped up right in front of the commentary position. Damian Gill, we've got a humdinger on our hands. Lauderdale 5-7-37, Glenorchy 5-3-33. About midway through the second term.
It could go either way.
It really could. Who will blink first? The Pies through Webb. Kick towards half forward. Bowden meets it solidly. Couldn't win a clean disposal. Gets it to his brother, who got it to Rundle. He gets it back from Daly. Little kick towards half forward. Was touched off the boot, I think, or the full, or was marked. It was marked by Roberts. Roberts in front of the Pies bench. Kicks inside 50, looking for some tall timber. Does he find it? No. Ball spills to ground level. Lauderdale defence under the pump. Reeves will go in hard, as will Sutton. Might have held on to Sutton on the way through there. Umpire said, I'll have it, please. I'll have a ball up.
This game is well and truly up for grabs. Rundle really getting involved in the contest. He's lifted, and the Glenorchy on-ball brigade had a pretty good term as Bill Chambers is wrapped up by Roberts. He's got a problem. No, says the umpire. It's always one of those ones, whether it's a quick whistle or if they wait a little bit to see if you can get it out. It's a quick whistle on that occasion. Be a ball up. Grant slaps it over, looking for Roberts in the long sleeves. Tries to shake off Bill Chambers. Not easily done. Just plants him into the turf.
Ambitious. One of the best tacklers in the comp.
So Phil Bill Chambers looks him bored, likes something in the corridor. In the end goes the safe option. Down the wing. Elliott got good body position. Trickles over the back. Saunders now. Can he keep it alive? Soccering. Elliott providing good pressure. Out it goes. So valuable yards for Lauderdale. They lead the contest by 4 points. It's been a beauty so far. Comes in again. Grant doing the bulk of the ruck work today, but it falls straight for Bryce Walsh. He kicks to Ben McGuinness.
Magnificent.
The kick was delightful. Yeah, Gilby offering just ahead of McGuinness, but he just made it centimetre perfect for Ben McGuinness to come out and take on the chest, as you see on the replay. Protected space. McGuinness was never dropping that one. Well done, Bryce Walsh. And as I said a little earlier, Chris Rowbottom, this is a part of the game that Ben McGuinness doesn't always nail, but he nailed his set shot earlier on today. What can he do this time? Swirling breeze off the left, loves it. Up goes one arm. And another major for the Bombers. Fantastic finish, 10-point lead here at KG5.
Yeah, wonderful finish. McGuinness, the kick from Walsh was unbelievable. He was unattended at that stoppage and he had too much time and space. And he got onto that right boot and he made the Pies pay by hitting McGuinness lace out. It might have even been intended for Gilby because the kick was that good.
Yeah. You almost wonder whether it was he meant it. Yeah. It was so good.
Either way, McGuinness read it beautifully and was able to take the mark and convert and extend this lead for Lauderdale, but Glenorchy will look to hit right back. McGuinness comes off a wing, feeds it out to that man Walsh. This time on his left boot, finds his lookalike in Burge. Short to half forward, couldn't quite hit Heavey, who tumbled as he tried to mark. Fed up by Daly, hacked out of there by Reeves, and it's straight into the arms of Walsh, who has really lifted. So Walsh into the middle of the ground. Here you go, Lauderdale. McManus kicks inside 50. Waiting at the back was Elliott, who couldn't quite take the mark. And it's all wrapped up. 35 metres out from the Lauderdale goal as they press once more.
You can hear that bit of breeze coming through the microphone. I think it is going to the left of screen.
Yep, starting to have a bit of an effect as that one is slapped forward. It's met solidly by the Pies defence, who just tumble a ball towards the safety of the boundary line. It doesn't quite die though, it eventually does. So Karen Ewer out there, got a little bit of treatment as he dished the ball off. Been in the wars a little bit today, Karen Ewer. He's tumbling and falling over and slaps across the chops, but he's going okay. As Smith just takes it for himself, he's tackled by Bowden. Reeves, high ball, spiral. It's out of bounds on the full.
Just looking down on the boundary, and Cam Duffy on the bike. He's got the jacket on. He won't be coming back out, but I'm guessing it's not too bad. Of course, you take precaution for today, but hopefully doesn't miss too much footy. Is Alex Hill almost for Heavey. Sorry, we both got excited there. As Geared kicking for Grant at the fall was Malucci. He couldn't gather. They're on hands and knees as they fight for it. Daly just pops up and takes the footy. Good bit of work from Daly. Finds Brennan. So Aaron Brennan doesn't have a heap on. Just kicks out in front of Butterworth. He brings it to the full. Shaking off. Kick forward. It was Trad Duggan and found Aaron Roberts. Roberts now a little too much on the kick for Webb, and now Williams should be able to run away. Williams looking out for the big ruckman Smith. Made a contest of it there, Smith. Brought it to ground. Feeding out was Alex Hill. Then Heavey, and now Hayden Smith. Hayden Smith. A ball short for Ben McGuinness. He's got a job to do to make a contest of this. 3 Magpies, just Ben McGuinness. They'll bring it out at 50 now. The Pies. Reeves arrives.
Good mark.
Fantastic grab. Little one over the top. He's had a good game, Reeves. Been asked to do a bit more work with Duffy out injured. Grant finds Daly. Measured approach this from the Pies. Daly inside forward 50. Tyler Bowden the target. Doesn't get to him. Jay Bowden gets involved. Tumbling ball towards the goal. It was just fisted by Francis. Agriculturally, he's pinged.
Yep, he's outside the square.
You don't see it too often, but he's probably right.
Yep. Yeah, he wasn't under too much pressure, and he was outside the 9 metre or 10 metre square.
And to tell you what, Grace raced over to get the footy thinking, yeah, here's another one in the tally. I'm in the mix for the Hudson. But it's going to be a Camrick ball. Ben Camrick was usually a bit of a sharpshooter. He's hit that awkwardly out in the full.
Yeah, caught that one fat, and that's a chance that goes begging, although a chance that they might not have had had it not been for a free kick, as you say, that sometimes isn't paid. So all's well that ends well for the Bombers. Raglione screaming for the ball on the broadcast side. McGuinness says no. As we get a score check from York Park or UTAS Stadium, where things are locked up. 39 apiece between North Launceston and North Hobart. Lauderdale going forward now. One-on-one battle out on the boundary, and it trickles over.
Cole Golan's kicked 4 goals.
Oh, what a difference he makes to that side. He comes back in and surprise, surprise. They play competitive footy against one of the best teams, if not the best team in the land. So a big result brewing potentially in the northern half of the state. So in it comes. Once more, Smith does the ruck work for Lauderdale. He couldn't quite gather the footy. Saunders came through, just kicked it onto himself. Grace under pressure in the back half. He got a free kick.
It was pretty smart from Grace. I think he knew he had Saunders hot on the hammer.
Good kick out wide to Banks Smith. He sees something in Rundle up on the wing. Hits his target.
Probably one of his better games for Glenorchy, I reckon, Sam Rundle.
Yep. He's starting to take a bit more responsibility with a few injuries to this Glenorchy side as the kick comes towards half forward. It's chopped off easily, though, by McManus, who just gets on his bike. Kicks in the Elliott direction. Saunders weighed it down. Didn't quite get the fall he wanted. The Pies will emerge with the ball. Here's Gunther. Kicks out towards the broadcast side. Looking for that man Rundle again. He was unable to affect the contest as it falls into the arms of McManus. Kicks inboard to Smith. Juggles the mark and eventually claims it on his chest. He's got Kerrin Ewers short if he wants him. Said no. Kicked a little longer in the Burge direction. Kick had to be good. There was 2 Pies lurking. Saunders gathers the loose footy. He's tackled well. Forced the turnover. Kicks a good one short to Daly.
It was good work from Trad Duggan, wasn't it?
Well, there it is. The halftime siren as Lauderdale enter the major break with a 10-point lead. They're 6-7-43. Glenorchy 5-3-33. A genuine arm wrestle unfolding here at KG5.
Yeah, no question. It's delicately poised really at the half. It's definitely a long way from over. Glenorchy not without their chances. If they had just got that goal from the pocket late, it'd be sitting really nicely as we look at that half time and how it sits. The major goal kickers, Tyler Bowden with 2 for the Pies. One was spectacular in that term. And Phil Bell-Chambers with 2, and Ben McGuinness, who's been the real focal point inside forward 50 for the Bombers, has also kicked 2. So Lauderdale with a slight advantage, but the breeze seemed to be blowing to the left of the screen, so you'd think if Glenorchy get the same sort of service in terms of the wind, this game is, it could be one that goes real deep.
Still very much in the balance. I think we'll take a short break here at KG5. Half time between Lauderdale and Glenorchy. It is the Bombers with a 10-point lead. 6-7-43 to the Pies. 5-3-33. Back soon.
So back with the second half, the main break out of the way. Just a little side point, Chris Rowbottom. You reckon half time could just be cut in maybe half?
You could slash and burn half time. It goes for too long.
Worst thing about footy, I reckon.
Yep, it's probably goes a solid 5 minutes too long. I think 5 minutes ago we were ready. Have a bit of a break, obviously. Catch your breath. No.
Yeah, it's a slog.
Get it going.
The Magpies agree because they're already out of their sheds and geared up for a big second half. Pretty impressive what they've put together in that first half, given everything that's gone against them in terms of their omissions, the laid outs, and then losing Cam Duffy in the first quarter very, very early on in the game.
Yeah, you've got to give them credit for being, in touch, or well and truly in touch. It's only 10 points at half time, given, as you say, a couple of those big omissions. Reece Mott is massive. He has 25 or 30 a game. Josh Arnold, the other one, of course, off half back. And then to lose one of their most important players, if not their most important player in the big ruckman, in Duffy, sort of halfway through the first quarter. Hayden Smith really started to throw his weight around, but I think Reeves and Grant as well going in there have really held their own. The Glenorchy midfield has been okay. I really liked Rundle's second quarter. He started to get his hands on the ball and use it well, and there was a really nice moment where he found a target in the middle of the ground, and he took a risk and it paid off, and I think it resulted in a goal. Camrick's been good. He's a little quieter in that second quarter, but he's stepped up in the absence of Braden Webb as that big sort of bodied, strong bull inside midfielder. But Lauderdale, they've been really good. They've done sort of what they had to do, and I think maybe coming into this second half, knowing that Duffy won't be returning, knowing they've probably got the bigger bodies on the inside, and knowing also they've probably got the talent up forward, Ben McGuinness, I'm looking at him. They might just smell a little bit of blood, I think, and if they kick the first two, then it could be on for the Bombers.
I can't disagree. I reckon the start is all important. I'm not sure what the breeze is doing. As I said before, I'd kill for a set of flags out here just to get some sort of read on the breeze. It looks like it may be less of a factor, but the sun's virtually disappeared. It's dropped a few degrees here at KG5. I think Lauderdale still have a bit of upside. It's been a pretty quiet game as it goes for Franklin. He can really work more into this tussle. And outside of Ben McGuinness, a lot of their forwards haven't had a heap of the footy. Gilby only seen it a few times. Elliott's presented well but hasn't caught too many. And Kieran Ewer's had a bit of a battle of a day, really. He's slipped over at crucial times. He's copped a few high. He's been in the wars. So they've still got another gear, I think, Lauderdale. And the question will be whether Glenorchy can follow them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think this first 5 minutes is going to certainly show a little bit or reveal a fair bit. As Cam Duffy, I think, he's got the jacket off and he's made his way to the bench. He looks like he might be still taking part in this game.
Well, science. Have they given him a new leg? No, I will say he was on the bike. He had the jacket on in that second term, and he was moving okay on the bike. But
we buried him.
But it just looked like they were going to go, look, no risk to be taken. But they've obviously assessed him at half-time. We may see him take part, but for the moment in the ruck, it's Grant and Smith doing battle. Smith won the hit out and then butted up with a tackle, and James Webb holding the footy. It's a good thing about Hayden Smith. Follows up his ruck work with good pressure. That kick from Siggins. Not good for Lauderdale. Straight in the arms of Gunther. Gunther usually good by foot. That was perfect. Away they go now, Glenorchy. Camrick over the top. See something he likes in Roberts. Oh, Roberts spent it before he earned it, but he's able to butter up. Kicking in the Grace direction. Being pretty quiet. Aiden Grace almost brought it down. Trupp climbing all over him. Bester tries to feed it out. Saunders lost his footing. Had Josh McGuinness there to help out. Karen Ewart caught. Good tackle from Camrick, so they keep it locked in, the Pies. They trail this one by 10 points, but the game well and truly still up for grabs.
I'm really, I'm amazed that Cam Duffy looked done. So when he gets back on the ground, really interested to see how he's moving.
Saunders kicks away hurriedly. It's gathered by Grant. He's been pretty good, I reckon, this afternoon. Hands over the top for Banks Smith. Sees Rundle and hits him. So Rundle really came into the game in a big way in that second term. Kicking for Tyler Bowden. Kicked a terrific check side goal in the second quarter. Wheels around. Kicking out in front of Grace. Grace arrives, as does Reeves. Hits it down for the runners. Trupp couldn't gather. Webb now. Well butted up by Trupp. Terrific tackle.
Webb gone.
And that is a saving tackle from Trupp. He's a funny-looking footballer, Trupp, but he does a darn good job back there for Lauderdale.
Yeah, he's been a find, I think, this year for Lauderdale. Trupp with the man bun and the long sleeves, and that's James Webb's been pinged for holding the ball twice early in this second term, as the kick is a good one out wide to Elliott. So he's a long way from home, playing a little bit further up the ground today, Elliott, it would seem. He hits a target now. Siggins goes further afield to Walsh. So build-up play here. Sutton has it now for the Bombers. So they're happy to just not go all guns blazing yet. And Sutton, well, he does exactly that, really. High and long inside 50. Big fly came. Hands came from out the back. Flying shot around the corner. There's a man all on his own inside the forward 50. It's Ben McGuinness who gathers and wheels and goes and puts it through the big sticks.
Fantastic football, Lauderdale. You've got to wonder how Ben McGuinness was so open on his own. The kick was actually not very good in the finish, but he had enough to spin around and finish off. Ben McGuinness, I said pretty early on, I'm going to remind you, it just looked like being one of those days where he has a day out and kicks a bag. He's on his way. That's his third for the game. Ben McGuinness, fantastic footy, but that's one I think the Magpies would like to have again.
Yeah, it was... Well, it's good positioning, really. Good forward craft to be sort of waiting at the back. A scrappy kick, the bad bounce. He managed to gather cleanly and evade the tackler and finish on his left boot. So Ben McGuinness having an impact on this one as Burge wins it out of the middle. Kick inside 50 for Lauderdale. Elliott met it solidly. Fed out a handball only as far as McKnight. A bit of a nothing kick looking to clear defensive 50. Raglione and Bowden engaged in a one-on-one. Good contest. Bowden couldn't win the clean disposal. Cavalry arrives for Glenorchy. But Lauderdale pumped it inside 50 again. McGuinness couldn't quite take it. Manages to win it down for himself. Roved his own footy. Spills out now to a black and white jumper. They'll clear 50, but for how long? Saunders tracks it towards the boundary and we'll have a ball in. So 16 points, the Bombers. 7-7-49 to 5-3-33, the Pies here at KG5. As things cool down weather-wise, but heat up football-wise. A loose footy to be gathered. He's done so. Camerick goes one way then the other. Thought about the handball. Got it on the boot. Gains some territory. Foot races on. Two Bombers versus two Pies. Who will win the day? Good contest. Reeves is in there. Eventually emerges with a black and white jumper. Fed out now by Francis. Kick up the wing. Doesn't quite hit the target. It's met nicely by Rundle, who did enough. Out to Camerick. Kick inside 50. Grace at the back. Couldn't quite hold on.
Good tackle, Bester.
And it's all wrapped up. So Bester, the man. We'll have another stoppage. Update from UTAS Stadium. It's North Launceston by a goal. 46-40 over North Hobart. So the young Demons keeping in touch.
They are indeed as the ball comes in. Reeves out the back. Almost for Perkins. Glenorchy through Banks Smith. Carignaura arrive. Questionable handball from Francis. Out they come the Pies through Camerick. Flying shot. Not good at all. Out on the full. So a chance for the Pies. And it's one of those days where they're going to have to make nearly every good chance like that count. So bring it out of defence. That's a shocking kick for Burge. It lets in Daly. Daly at the fall of it, wrapped up. It's just a little too casual, that kick out of defence, I think.
Yeah, well done, Daly, to force a stoppage.
So Magpies, the right area of the ground for them. 5-3-33, 7-7-49. Next goal crucial for the black and white. Over the back, Reeves. Running out of time was McManus. They're just trying to forge it forward here, the Pies. Josh McGuinness climbing on top. Good tackle. Spills out. Ball still alive here. Feeding out was Malucci. Camerick with time and space. Just squares it back up. Looking for Tyler Bowden. It falls for Grace. Slapping back. Trupp. Now for Perkins. Feeds it to Kieran Just keeps it running to himself. He's collected Kieran on the outside of the boot. McKnight. Almost. Francis punches through.
Gee, that would have been something had that had managed to evade the fist of Francis. Kieran he continues to just struggle to avoid the batter and clatter. I remember when he made his way down, Darren Winter said the Kieran and a couple of his mates that made their way down from the Northern Territory were really used to bruise-free footy, and they got a bit of a shock when they realised the Tasmanian game was a little bit more contested than they might have liked. Having said that, they've been fantastic since arriving last year. As the Bombers find themselves with the footy on the outer side wing. Short ball is good to Heavey. So Alex Heavey, veteran of this team, been around for a long time. Alex Heavey thinks about conceding and in the end just sort of pops it up to half forward. Wasn't able to be taken there by Brennan. Pies will emerge with it. Camerick's been fantastic. Handball out to Grant. He kicks beyond a wing to his fellow big man in Reeves. Unable to take the mark. McGuinness swoops on the loose ball. Kicks towards half forward. McGuinness couldn't quite take the mark. Good square contest as players converge. Umpire says play on. Eventually spills out. Kick forward into the lap of Reeves. So chance now for the Pies. Wonderful smother though. Reeves just a little sloppy. Contested ball now on the outer side. Footy to be won as players go in. It eventually spills out to Franklin. He gets it off to Elliott. Back to Franklin. Evades a couple of tacklers. Feeds a handball to Saunders. He thinks once and thinks twice. Back to Franklin. Kick inside 50. Oh. Wonderful mark back there by Butterworth. Two very dangerous Lauderdale forwards were lurking. They're not out of the woods yet. Burge goes in after it. Rundle emerges with it. Rips the footy out. Says, give it to me. Kicks up towards the wing. Bowden's there. He'll lose Smith with ease. Gets around another. Kicks inside to Banks Smith. They're away here, the Pies. Little kick inside 50's a good one. And here's Grace.
Well, what we saw there, Chris Rowbottom, was when you give Jay Bowden time and space, he hurts you, and he hasn't had much of it today. He's been pretty quiet by Jay Bowden's standards, but he's virtually had a hand in what should be a goal if we know Aiden Grace is kicking for goal.
And it all started with that Butterworth grab in defence. Lauderdale were pressing, and Butterworth, with outstretched arms, made the footy stick. And it commenced the chain, which will end in the Grace shot in goal. He's just missed. So just unable to complete what was a really impressive little run there from the Pies.
And that's the worry for the Pies as McManus brings it out of defence, looking in the Gurgel direction, makes a contest of it. At the fall is Smith and Banks Smith. Banks Smith being ridden by the youngster Gurgel. Will be a stoppage. But that is the issue for the Magpies. They just need to get the majors because we know Lauderdale have the ability to pile them on quick. Back it comes inside forward 50 for Glenorchy. Here's Daly. He knows what to do around goal. Finds a little bit of space in the pocket. Daly, can he thread the needle? That's terrific! Pocket rocket with one from the pocket.
Yeah, that's the classic small forward goal. Something out of nothing. Clean finish from a tight angle. That's exactly the spark Glenorchy need as they creep back to 8 points. Lauderdale 7-7-49. Unable to shake the Pies at KG5. They're 6-5-41. Callan Daly has his first.
That was an unbelievable finish. And the thing is, you know Callan Daly so well, you just knew it was half a chance. He just found that little pocket of space and finished it off. Terrific stuff, Cal Daly. And it gives Glenorchy a real sniff, Chris Rowbottom.
Absolutely does. And back in the middle, they'll go forward again here, the Pies. Kick it half forward. Duffy back on the ground. Daly starting to have an impact. Got it over to Malucci. Lauderdale defence scrambling. Sloppy old handball. Can Roberts pounce? Tries to win the loose ball. He's got company, though, in McGuinness. The umpire blows the whistle, and a free kick's been plucked for holding the ball. So
that was a bit of a lux
stiff.
of fortune, I reckon, for Lauderdale.
Super stiff. We saw the slap on the desk in the coach's box beside us. PK not all too happy, and to be fair, I don't blame him, as another free kick's plucked out for Lauderdale. They'll go again here on the outer side in the Kerenua direction. Manages to make this one stick. Wants to play on immediately. Has a runner on the outside. Kick inboard was ambitious, but it'll be good enough for Heavey, who takes the mark. So Heavey, Lauderdale looking to get that goal back in the Elliott direction. He had back position. Gunther in front was fantastic and kills the ball over the line. Lauderdale hold an 8-point lead here at KG5. 7-7-49, 6-5-41. It's just a tick over 12 minutes gone in the third term.
But you can understand the frustration of Paul Kennedy. It was right in the right area of the ground for him. It was smart stuff from Josh McGuinness, you got to say, from Lauderdale. But yeah, fortunate free kick from where we sit. Interesting ruck contest with McManus as the ruckman for Lauderdale. Then it was just socket off the ground by Heavey. Very ambitious, and out it goes on the full. So the Glenorchy free kick deep in defence. Liam Smith over to take it. We should just remark the remarkable recovery of Cam Duffy. Back into the action. He's on the wing at the moment. Not long ago he had the tracksuit on. He was on the bike and we thought that's game over for Duffy. The extra run, another rotation will help as they kick in his direction. Makes a good contest of it, Duffy. Coming out was Gurgel. He threw it. Be a Magpies ball. Be Aiden Grace. He's had to work up the ground a little bit this game to get his hands on the footy. Little one for Smith. Smith can find Gunther. Gunther eventually collects the footy, takes on Gilby, arches the back and hits his target. It's a good target in Brennan. Brennan Powers looking for the big duffster. This will test him out. There's a gathered ball from Trupp. He's claiming the mark and the umpire agrees. So Trupp, really solid defender for the Lauderdale Bombers. Raises the ball, looks down the wing. They'll have to fly from the back, the Bombers. It falls okay for Heavey, but he's run out of tarmac. He'll be thrown in outer side here at KG5. Just 8 points in this game.
Yeah, really good battle of attrition here. KG5 forming. Glenorchy and Lauderdale. The Bombers, 8 points to the good. Duffy back in the ruck. Nobody won the tap. Camrick emerges with the footy. Takes a bounce on the outer wing. In fact, he takes two. He might even have another one. Takes 3 bounces and kicks Glenorchy inside 50. Malucci at the back. Forced it down. He receives it back outside of the right boot. Malucci kicks the goal. Giacomo Malucci.
We'll see it again on the replay. Jay Bowden did a lot of the hard work for him, but still got to finish him off from there.
Margin back to 2 points. Lauderdale 7-7-49. Glenorchy will not go away. 7-5-47. A nice finish from Malucci as the Pies make things count. It was Camrick again. 3 bounces on the outer side wing. Set that one up. Went for a gallop. Kicked inside 50. Bowden and Malucci worked it out amongst themselves. Malucci's name will go on the score sheet.
So just 2 points in it. Chris Rowbottom, you'd suspect Glenorchy, the way the game's played out in terms of breeze, will want to lead as Sam Siggins extracts it from the middle. Long high ball, asking plenty of those sitting under it. Heavey slaps it on the boot, bouncing over a defender. Falls for Franklin, a little nice little ball in the end. Finds Ben McGuinness, who's dealt with afterwards. I think Ben McGuinness might even just kick this one from the goal line. But Ben McGuinness collected after the fact. And yep, he'll be marched to the goal line, so write this one down. Alex Heavey not happy with it. So Ben McGuinness for goal number 4 from the goal line. Makes no mistake, kicks it to Northgate. And he is being a real handful for the opposition. We see this again, just not real happy with each other in the background. And Ben McGuinness just whacks it through the double cobra. And Lauderdale extend their lead again. Chris Rowbottom.
Back out to 8 points. And this match, well, there's plenty of heat in it. Been a wonderful arm wrestle all day. Lauderdale got out to a 16-point advantage. Glenorchy pegged them back. It's been a couple of 50-metre penalties, a couple of free kicks, bit of argy-bargy. It's been not the highest scoring game, but it's been an enjoyable one, that's for sure. As Cam Duffy, the man that we called the priest in for and read the last rites to, is back on the ground. Wins his tap down. Here's Jay Bowden. He'll spiral one inside 50 to his brother Tyler. Unable to complete the mark. Ground ball to be won. Falls into the arms of Daly. He was ripped off at Daly. Umpire said play on. Kick outside 50 for Lauderdale. Heavey got one in the back. He was ridden into the ground. Umpire said no. Ball continues to be won in the middle of the ground. That's a big tackle. The umpire says, finally, I'll have a please. And the intensity in this one's just been knocked up a couple of notches. As umpire Nick Butler made to earn his dollars today. One down immediately by Lauderdale. Here's Williams. Little one inside, asked a lot of Walsh. Made a contest though. The Bombers looking to go forward. Falls into the arms of Saunders. Handball over the top to Walsh. He's got to contend with Roberts. Fair out of handball to Siggins. He had Elliott. Put him under the pump. Cries of ball from the wet area. Umpire said he didn't have Pryor. Glenorchy now looking to work it out. Teammate was sold into absolute danger, but he's got one in the back. I think it was McKnight, and it was.
The voice of the crowd starting to come into this.
Certainly is. They're not out of the woods yet. Elliott picks off the McKnight kick. Out to Williams. Handball over the top to Heavey. He's got a man in Franklin. Little dabbing ball inside 50 back to Williams. Gathers his own ball. Has a flying shot from the pocket. Top of the square, McGuinness. Punched through almost. Brennan swoops. What can he do? Looking for a target outside 50. It's all Lauderdale. Big work to be done out there by Bester. And eventually it'll go out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. Damian Gill.
This is a great game of Bupa TSL footy. Round 7 action, Glenorchy 47, Lauderdale 55. Game still up for grabs as it comes in again. Duffy, he's come back from, as Chris Rowbottom said, we'd had him done as the non-officiating umpire has plucked a free kick here for high, so it's going to go the way of Glenorchy. It will be Jay Bowden ball. So the next couple of minutes, your sense, is all important. Jay Bowden sells some candy, takes a bounce, kicks long. Daly arrives, takes a grab. So Daly looks at a vacant 50, looks into the corridor. Bank Smith had found some space. No one around him, Bank Smith. He takes the grab and he'll line up.
Big kick this.
Huge kick in the contest and the context of the game is where I was originally going with it. And Bank Smith, quality player, finds plenty of the footy. A few swings of it in front of his eyes. Crosses the paint of 50. He'll kick, he just gets a hold of it in the end and threads the needle. So Glenorchy with a crucial goal, and they cut the margin again, Chris Rowbottom. End-to-end stuff, this game of footy. Neither team dying out of it.
Tell you what, I thought he got really close to the man on the mark then.
Yeah, in my calling, I got distracted by the fact of that.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to kick it into the man on the mark, and in the end he hit it sweetly, straight through the sticks, and that's all that matters if you're a Glenorchy fan.
Well, we're 20 minutes deep into this third term, and it is set up for the last quarter and a bit. Lauderdale, 8-7-55. Glenorchy, 8-5-53. Wonderful game of TSL footy unfolding here at KG5. Ball to be won in the middle of the ground. Errant boot was swung at the Sharon, but it didn't make a connection. And we'll have another ball up, a restart. So Smith and Reeves to contest the ruck. Reeves probably got the better of that one, but Smith rove the footy. Had a man on the outside. Goes to him by hand. Little kick inside 50, finds Gilby. Hasn't played a big part in this game. Jacob Gilby decides to play on. Runs to 45, goes short to a pack of Magpies, and it's picked off. So he probably could have had a shot. Jacob Gilby, I'm sure he's got the leg from there. So clearing kick now. Grant couldn't control the footy. Bester over the top to Roberts. Here's Grant, kicks to half forward. Brought down, Smith at the fall. Handball over the top, only as far as Webb. He tries to handball forward into the path of Daly, who swoops on a loose ball. Dribbles one on the left boot, don't tell me, Callan Daly! Wonderful finish from the pocket. And Callan Daly starting to have a real impact. That is the Callan Daly pocket, that's for sure, this afternoon. And Glenorchy have the lead. 9-5-59 the Pies. Lauderdale 8-7-55. Brilliant dribbling finish from Callan Daly.
Well, he's a star, isn't he, Cal Daly? And we talked about the under-25 team a little earlier, and he's a name you'd expect to feature. Just smart stuff. He found enough space, and he just backed his forward craft with the finish. There's a whistle here. So it might be a free kick out of the middle.
666 warning, perhaps.
I'm not sure exactly what's going on. In the end, they'll get things moving with a restart. Umpire Nick Butler in the middle. 22, almost 23 minutes gone here. A nice big bounce down from Smith. Slapped on the boot by Gear. In they go again, Glenorchy. Callan Daly arrives and gives away a free kick. So it'll be a Jeremiah Perkins free kick. Coming to this side and done a pretty good job. Finds McManus. McManus looks further afield. Doesn't have an obvious option on. Just kicks and hopes in the end, and Sutton makes good of it. Collects without reached arms. He'll switch it up to Josh McGuinness. Just to run a fair way to eventually take the mark. He's off, and he'll go back for Sutton. So they'll work it out of defence here, Lauderdale. Glenorchy doing well not to just let it out of forward 50 too easy. Sutton now will kick to a contest. Grace arrives, fist down for the Magpies. Out the back was McManus. He finds Bellchambers. Bellchambers a powering boot. Over the top, it'll trickle out of play, and that's probably a win for Lauderdale.
Certainly is. Glenorchy lead this match by 2 points. 9-5-59. Plays 8-7-55. Almost 16 minutes gone. Third term. Can they extend the lead? Here's Banks Smith. Kept the footy. He'll be pinged. No, he won't. He was given lots of opportunity to get rid of it. Tried to get it to Camrick. Couldn't win it out. Here you go, Lauderdale. It's all wrapped up once again. Hayden Grace in there. Burge emerges from the bottom of the pack. A bit easier to tell apart from Bryce Walsh today because he's got the bandage wrapped around the noggin, which is certainly good for us. And there he is. Kick inside 50 now for Lauderdale. It was met solidly, but the mark unable to be completed. Glenorchy now with a chance to work it out. Still plenty of danger as McGuinness lurks. Here's Heavey. Gave it up though to Geared. Back to Camrick. Kick up towards the wing. Here's Smith. Had it slapped away by Reeves. Went back in and got it. He's been good today, Smith. Kick now slapped forward for Lauderdale. Tumbler inside 50. Met by Brennan, who says, take it back. I don't want it. And kicks towards the boundary. And it'll spill out of side. As Glenorchy hold their 2 point advantage in this one.
It's an arm wrestle, isn't it? Absolute arm wrestle. Going to go deep. As North Launceston have just kicked away from North Hobart up at York Park. It's fed out by Hayden Smith on hands and knees. James Webb being pretty quiet. Just brushing aside was Banks Smith. This is good stuff from Glenorchy. Inside forward 50 they'll head. Just onto the feet of Jay Bowden. Errant handball from him. Alex Gill over the top for Franklin now as Lauderdale try and move it out of defence. He tries to shake off Malucci. Oh, he just got his kick away, but good stuff from Malucci. McManus dealt with afterwards, and the kick lands in the arms of James Webb. Webb over the top to Smith. So Glenorchy, they move it out of defence and find Camerick. He's got a wing to himself. Kicks for Grace. Takes a grab outside 50. Grace, a little one, looking for Tyler Bowden. He's taken the grab, Tyler Bowden. Hemmed in the pocket, though. This will take a good kick.
Certainly will. We've seen him pull out a trick from the kit bag earlier, outside of the right boot. He'll need to certainly produce that again, but the angle is really, really tight, so he'll need to get some sharp turn on this ball.
He virtually just threw the arm out there, and I think it just stuck. Sometimes they do.
Stuck in the big paw.
So here he is, Tyler Bowden. Looks like he's going to go the outside of the boot. Spins around. Gets good purchase on the kick. He loves it! And why not? Glenorchy extend their lead. What a contest at KG5.
Well, I don't think I saw this coming at half-time. Lauderdale took a 10-point advantage in. They kicked the first one after half-time to go up by 16 points. That's been erased, and now the Pies lead by 10. Tyler Bowden's kicking him on the outside of his right boot. Callan Daly's kicking him from everywhere. The Pies finding goals and avenues to goal where Lauderdale is struggling.
You're used to seeing Jay Bowden put on a show, but Tyler Bowden is come to play today.
Certainly has. He's got a couple. We go back in the middle. Aiden Grace was running through there. Rundle has it attached to him by Bryce Walsh.
Well, a 10-point lead, Rowie. That's a good lead for the Magpies deep in the third quarter.
Well, there is the siren, and it will stay at a 10-point advantage for Glenorchy, and they're walking on air at the moment. The Pies, 10-5-65, Lauderdale 8-7-55. The tide of this game completely turned in favour of the home team. Callan Daly, sensational in that term. Camerick re-emerged in the midfield, and Tyler Bowden kicked a wonderful check side goal.
Well, that's just it. Callan Daly did not have a goal to his name prior to that quarter. He kicked two beauties that has lit a fire under Glenorchy, and they emerge into the last change with a 10-point lead, and that is an all-valuable lead. I tell you what, neither team has led by too much at all today. It's been a real arm wrestle, and they've found the answers when needed just to keep it being a really enthralling contest.
I think it was 16 points at the start of the third term. Lauderdale kicked the first of the third term, and they led by 16. I think that might be the highest margin of the game so far. Glenorchy obviously said, okay, what can we do here? And they responded beautifully, and I don't think it's any coincidence that it coincided with the return of Cam Duffy, the man that we'd put in a casket and buried, and like the Undertaker, he's risen.
Yeah, his hand just emerged from the dirt. No, it was amazing that he came and made a recovery, and gutsy efforts like that has helped. But you have to talk about Callan Daly when you're talking about that quarter.
Yep.
He's been pretty subdued for a quality player in the first couple of quarters, and then he just emerged and kicked two really sharp finishes from the pocket. We see some of the highlights of the term here. Ben McGuinness, this was sharp stuff, and he pretty well every time it's been in his area, he's competed well and been the focal point for Lauderdale. But here we see Callan Daly shook off the tackle, finished off, absolutely delightful. We'll soon see another piece of his wonderful work, but it was a quarter that belonged to him in a big, big way. Here was another one, dropped off for Malucci. He's been serviceable coming into the side, just playing a role, and we saw Ben McGuinness get another. So a real good quarter for Glenorchy fans, and they lead this contest. As both teams go into the huddle, what do you imagine is being said in the Lauderdale huddle at this point in time, Chris?
Well, I don't think Darren Winter would be all too happy with conceding a 10-point half-time lead and having that flipped on its head by 20 points. to result in a 10-point advantage from Glenorchy, but I think he'd want more from his forwards. The only real avenue at the moment has been Ben McGuinness. I think Bill Chambers has a couple, but I think one of them came from a free kick, or a free kick that wasn't his in the first place, and he took it in lieu of Ben McGuinness, I think. Gilby's been okay. I think they just need to find more avenues to goal. They need to get a little bit more creative. Their midfield are working really hard. I think Walsh has been pretty good. They probably want a little bit more out of Nat Franklin as well, who's we haven't called him too much. Bill Chambers has been okay. But yeah, I think just being a little bit smarter in their use going forward. We saw it out on that outer side a couple of times. Some of the entries were shallow and they were slow, and it just allowed the likes of Harrison Gunther and those guys to just come back and provide support. He's been really good, by the way, Gunther, and there was a wonderful mark taken by Butterworth all the way down deep in defence that set up a Glenorchy goal. So some of those entries and some of the decision-making going forward from Lauderdale can certainly be tidied up. But I've liked the work of Hayden Smith. I know he had the spell where Duffy was off the ground, but I think he's been really good around the ground. He's winning taps, and he's also sort of roving his own footy and trying to win out handballs and really throwing his weight around. There's nothing worse than a big fella in the middle of the ground that doesn't use their weight advantage, and I think Hayden Smith's really trying to do that. But Glenorchy, there's speedsters. They're zipping around, and they're just creating they're just creating headaches up forward. Daly was really good, and it wasn't just the goals. He was zipping around at the top of the 50 and winning handballs and going in and tackling and just causing headaches for the Lauderdale defence. So I think for Lauderdale, they need a few more avenues forward. They need to probably be smarter in the way that they're delivering it to their forwards as well. But Glenorchy, once they get up and going, you just sense that they lift a little bit and grow a third leg.
Yeah, they found some pluck in a big way, and all this with two pretty significant laid outs with Arnold coming out of the side as well as Mott. And Paul Kennedy be wrapped with what he's got so far. And, well, they're in the driver's seat, aren't they, as we turn for the last. And Lauderdale, they're the ones that have to find the answers, but they do have the avenues. They've got players that have been pretty quiet. I know you talk about Hayden Smith, and when you were talking about him, a little comparison came in my mind. He's probably not he's not a massive sort of exponent of the tap work, but he's follow-up pressure. So he went to Mumford, that follow-up, and he gets in there and he competes, and he really is a real weapon for Lauderdale, I reckon. And then they've got the luxury of having Siggins around the ball. Siggins is probably a player that had a pretty quiet third term. They'd like to get a bit of his gallop into the game, and Bryce Walsh was probably a bit more subdued as well, and when they were up and going earlier, he was the fire starter. So there are a couple of times Lauderdale I'd like to see get hands on footy and try and fight back, because Glenorchy, they'll enter that huddle with really strong belief.
Yeah, it would be a massive win for the club. We keep saying about these outs and these injuries and what they've been faced with going into this game. Top of the ladder, Lauderdale coming in to their home ground. They've put on a big day here for the spectators, of course. We talk all year about their centennial year, and they talk about that a lot. It really does mean a lot to them every week that they play this year. So in terms of belief and spirit and all those intangibles that you talk about when you talk about games of footy, they've certainly got all those locked down. It's just a matter of executing now. They do have some young players. I really like the game of Roberts, actually. Yep. He's just done some nice bits and pieces. Like, he hasn't dominated the game by any stretch or anything like that, but he's been pretty clean, and he's used it nicely, and he kicked an early goal, and he's probably just done everything that he'd be expected to do. So big. We said it at the start of the third term, but we're going to say it again, a huge first 5 or 6 minutes in this one. If Lauderdale can kick a couple of quick ones, wrestle the lead back, who knows, maybe they run away. But if Glenorchy kick a couple of quick ones, or even get the first one, they're going to be hard to catch, because they're going to be full of belief.
Tails up and away they go. It's going to be really fascinating, the start to this quarter. Back in the middle. Sutton in at the centre bounce, and Raglione minding Jay Bowden. So umpire Nick Butler starts proceedings in the last. Duffy, he's come back from the death, and he's dropped it off nicely for Camrick. Camrick Measured ball just short of Grace. Bounces off his chest. He's collected high. And he'll line up. This is crucial.
This is big.
We can't stress enough the resurgence of Cam Duffy. We'd given up on him.
Well, generally when you've got the big ice pack strapped to the knee and you've got the jacket on, that's a surefire way for any boundary rider to know that the player's done. We saw the exact same thing and we put a line through him.
It was a perfect hit out to start the last quarter. Straight down the throat of Camrick. He delivered in. Grace caught one high, and now the final piece of the puzzle is a set shot goal. Can Grace deliver? In he comes. He rides the kick, and it's off to the left.
Tell you what, Grace has just put Trupp down off the ball as the ball sailed through. I think Trupp had a few words to say about Grace missing the shot. Grace retaliated, and it could be a Lauderdale free kick. I tell you what, the Pies just wouldn't want this to get out of hand in terms of emotions escalating.
Well, that's really costly.
Yeah.
If Paul Kennedy would not be happy at all with the follow-up from Grace. Had a perfect opportunity to start last quarter as Trupp drops off for Josh McGuinness, and they make their way out of defence. So they get the behind Glenorchy, but it was a free kick for Trupp, and it lands in the arms of Smith.
So big Hayden Smith. Damian Gill's compared him to Shane Mumford in the break, and got to say, I tend to agree. Big unit, and that's probably a Shane Mumford style kick because it's come off the wrong side of the boot and it's spilled out of bounds on the full. So Glenorchy, they won't be punished by that free kick given away by Aidan Grace as Jay Bowden emerges with the footy, hits a target. They'll look to go inside 50 once more. In it comes. Smith gets across. It does enough. In fact, it's out of bounds on the full.
I think it's just caught Grace's shoe on the way through,
Yeah,
so he's had a dirty minute.
So still plenty to play for both teams. Glenorchy hold the advantage here. 10 points to the good. That man Hayden Smith will get another crack at it on the outer side. He's got ball in hand as he just looks to massage the footy up the line, and the big fist came from Reeves in the end, and that'll be out of bounds on the outer side as the lights come on here at KG5.
So just on that, I think the point wasn't awarded in the end because the free kick was given in the process.
Okay,
so 10 points, as you said.
Will we be talking about that in 15 or 20 minutes' time? We will see as the ball is all locked up in the middle of the ground. Jay Bowden on the bottom of the pack will have another ball up. So just really await to see what might unfold in this crucial final term. Kick forward in the Lauderdale direction. Battle out there on the wing. Burge was involved. Here's McKnight. He's stripped of the footy. Umpire says that's holding the ball. Chance for the Bombers now to kick inside 50. There'll be a fly. The back Saunders! Wonderful take. It was set up for him. He got the ride and he made no mistake. That's a great clunk.
Fantastic. What a moment.
So Saunders, gee, this would light a fire under the red and black army. In he comes, left foot kick, sends it on its way. It won't make the distance. Wow, and it's going to be knocked over for a minor score. Saunders doesn't cash in.
He doesn't at all. It was such a good mark. It deserved better with the kick, didn't it? But they cut the margin by a point.
So, big moment in this game. Pies bring it back in. It's going to be taken by Jeremiah the Bullfrog Perkins. And I think he was a little confused about which way he was going there. It falls to Saunders in the end, who kicks across the face of goal. Emerge in the hands of Camrick, who has taken a number of running bounces today. He's got on his bike and eventually decides to come back the other way, concedes some ground. He had nothing up the line. I think Perkins thought they were going the other way. And I was questioning my own sanity for a second until he was told to kick it the correct way. I'm just trying to regain my thoughts here as Walsh emerges with the footy. Out of sight for Lauderdale. High ball, shallow entry inside 50. Raglione underneath it. Gill to try and take the footy away, but it spills over the line at right half forward for the Bombers, not the Pies.
That was absolutely bizarre. It was probably technically play on because he went backwards the other way. But nevertheless, we digress as it's down from Duffy. Sutton eyes it off. Gets boot the ball now. Fights in Evie. He's collected. He should get a free kick. That would have hurt. The ball just sat in the air for Heavey, and he did the courageous thing. And he looks in a spot of bother here.
Yeah, the arms are waving. They're calling for the trainers.
He's been collected. This doesn't look great.
Yeah, he was crunched, Heavey. The trainer is currently assessing damage. He's obviously got a focus on the head and neck region. He was taken out heavily. Veteran of the club, Alex Heavey, as the trainers begin to make their way out towards him. They've got the stretcher. I'll tell you what, they're not exactly working double time, the trainers.
Yeah, not good.
As the
I think the margin is still 10 points, isn't it? Or
Yeah.
9 points. Our scoreboard just
the major scoreboard saying 4 points.
letting us down, so we've followed the lead there. But I think it is, yeah, they've just caught up. I think it's 9 points. As we look at this, doesn't look good at all, does it, this Rowbottom? It was one of those nasty moments where the ball just hung up a little bit and Heavey was made to wait under it, and it was a solid challenge coming through, and he's really collected him in a big way.
Yeah, and when you're mid-air and not really expecting a hit of that sort of ferocity, you go a little bit limp and you get the old bit of whiplash even, and I think that's what they'll probably be assessing as we see the stretcher arrive for Alex Heavey. Hopefully he's okay. Just trying to see what they're assessing. He's certainly moving. I think they're going to roll him onto the stretcher.
Fingers crossed.
He's been a wonderful servant of the club, Alex Heavey. He's been around for quite some time. And as we mentioned, that core group of Lauderdale guys, he's absolutely one of them. He's a best 22 senior player, week in, week out, does his job. You just know he'd be one of the coach's favourites because he's just ultra dependable as he makes his way onto the stretcher, and the trainers pick him up and commence to bring him from the field. Maybe something like that just sparks Lauderdale and they say, let's get things going off the back of that, as all the players get around him and give him the rub on the head or the pat down as he makes his way from the field.
Just while that's occurring, a brief update from up north at UTAS Stadium. Still game on. 10 points the margin.
Wow.
In favour of North Launceston. Cole Garland with 6 goals.
Well, the difference
in a big way. I know that was a long saga, but thankfully it's seen Cole Garland back in the red and blue and kicking goals for North Hobart. Eventually we'll see Lauderdale kick for goal here, and it looks like it's going to be Bryce Walsh. So Alex Heavey.
So just another twist and turn in this game, isn't it? As we see the injury to Heavey, and he's being removed from the field. You'll get the cheers and the applause from the benches and the away fans.
With good respect.
KG5, and he looks like he looks to be okay. He's lifting the head. He's got the arms up.
You just wonder what sort of injury it was. It was hard to get an indication, wasn't it?
Yeah, not too sure, but I'm sure we'll find out a little later. As Bryce Walsh now lines up for what is a crucial kick in this game. So when he ambles, strikes it pretty well. Won't quite get there. Was it off the boot? No. Minus score for Lauderdale. So they creep ever so closer. 8 points the margin here at KG5. A little bit of drama with an injury to Alex Heavey as the Pies bring things in immediately. He'll ride the line. McKnight might have been shoved out of it. He was.
Yeah, front on contact there.
Nick Butler all over it, in good position to do so. So McKnight wins the free kick. He'll kick Glenorchy up towards a wing. Runda will fly from the back. He couldn't take the mark. He did enough to bring it down though. High ball gains some territory. Grace underneath it, takes it on the chest. He'll kick from outside the paint. He's looking for a pair of Magpies. Malucci swooped on the loose footy. Centering ball inside 50. Couldn't quite pick out a target. Roberts will gather. He's claimed to be holding the ball. Advantage is called. Walsh emerges with the ball. Bell Chambers gave it to Sutton. Burned off his opponent in Bowden. Not his greatest. High ball towards half forward. Grant needs to bend down a long way to win the loose footy. Eventually it spills out. Karen Ewer more suited to that type of stuff. Gave it straight to Walsh, who was claimed immediately in the tackle. And the stoppage was forced. So Lauderdale unable to produce a meaningful foray from that little patch.
As the crowd find their voice. Fantastic game of TSL footy here at KG5 today. A real treat as it's gathered by Jay Bowden. Just swings and kicks it. Kicking in the direction of Malucci. Gathering was Josh McGuinness. Tries to bustle his way through. Just got the hands out, but they're not done with yet. The Magpies, they swarm. Roberts kicks. High ball. Grace will fly. He does. Falls for the runners in Daly. Coming out was Trupp. Was it in his back? No free kick. They're going nowhere here, Lauderdale. As Glenorchy keep it locked in. It's a hot footy. Aiden Grace played a bit of a different game today, but I've liked his game. Hasn't been in front of the stick so much, but presented up and done some tough stuff as James Webb rides a Sutton tackle. They keep it locked in there. Neither team wanting to give an inch. 12 and change gone. In the last quarter, with an absolute humdinger, it comes straight to Daly. He had a little bit of space, but then wandered back into traffic. And they'll do things again. Straight up goes the umpire. Reeves over the back, gathered by Francis. The youngster just pops it on the boot. Swinging fist from Raglione. Eyeing it off now, and they'll bring it back in through Brennan. Outside of his boot, a bouncing one for Grace. He's got Trupp for company. Burns him off. Drops it for Camrick. Camrick outside of the boot. Off now. It's there for Malucci. Terrific stuff, the youngster, but he sold it short. He went along the ground.
Wow. Gee, that looked like a Glenorchy goal. As the kick-in was flirting with danger. But the target was eventually found in Hill. He says, no, you take it, Josh McGuinness, who he does. Gives it off to Trupp. Kicks out beyond a wing. Looking for Elliott at the back. Walsh emerges with the ball. Handball inside now to Bell Chambers. Kick up towards half forward. He's got Elliott coming back. Thought about playing on. Did so eventually. Went inside. Handball missed its mark. Bell Chambers good enough to mop up. Williams went without the footy. Bell Chambers went and got it again. Turned inside. Back to Williams. Kick inside 50 now for Lauderdale. Saunders shaked off his man. He was lurking out the back, but it'll bounce over in the right-hand forward pocket for the Bombers.
I just can't believe at the other end that Malucci goal. All he has to do is get a bit of air on it, and it's a certain major.
Perkins saves the day at the other end. Can they make them pay in front of goal? Smith tries to just truck his way through. He's claimed, though, by his opposing number in Duffy. The big boys nominate. They'll go at it again. Smith was bundled out of it. Walsh working hard. In fact, it might have been Burge or Walsh. It's one of the two, that's for sure. Trying to win the footy out. We'll have another stoppage here. Locked inside the Lauderdale forward 50. Smith got front position. Only as far as Duggan. High ball outside 50. Big ball to be won here. Williams was ragdolled off it. Back to McGuinness. tried to shovel it out. Sutton was in there, laid the tackle on Camerick. It was a good one. And we'll have another whistle and another stoppage.
Well, Lauderdale need to hit the scoreboard soon, don't they?
Well, we're 15 minutes, almost 16 minutes gone. So about halfway through this final term. They need a goal. Here's Bell Chambers. Worked his butt off all day. Tumbles one forward. Gee, there was some acrobatics there. As the umpire blows a whistle.
It's going to go the way of Walsh, I think.
Was there a bit of contact, maybe?
I think it was a push in the back awarded in the end, just judging off the hand gesture.
It was the player doing backflips through the air that caught my eye. But Walsh, he's had a lot of the footy today. He's had an impact, that's for sure. He'll drive Lauderdale inside 50. Gathers a bit of territory. Kick to the top of the square. McGuinness at the back! Claims the mark. And this is a big kick. From point blank range, Ben McGuinness ambles on in and slots it through. It's back to 3 points.
Got a 3-point ball game, dying embers. It's very rare on the stream we actually get a good game. We've been treated to a ripping contest today, and what we saw just there was what we've seen from Ben McGuinness over the duration of this contest. He's just marked the ball terrifically well. As we see Ryan Banksmith come to the bench a little sore. But the game's still up for grabs. That's the goal Lauderdale needed. They cut the margin to just 3 points, as we see again. That's his 5th major for the day. So he's got a handful, and he's been a handful as play continues live. Jay Bowden with the clearance. Kicking for Grant. Grant hands off. Grace now trying to swing back. A snap. Just wide to the right. The crowd loved it, but unfortunately they couldn't cheer at home. So McManus from full back now for Lauderdale has the kicking duties. A measured ball. Finds its intended target in Williams. Pokey one over the top for Sutton. So Lauderdale, patient build-up. They still trail. Long it goes off the boot of Sutton, looking for Elliott. Gets hands to it but couldn't complete the grab. At the fall was McKnight. He found Daly. Daly shakes off one. Expertly done. Looks for Malucci. Malucci takes the grab. So Glenorchy now. Inside 50. Malucci for Grace. Good punch from Truck. Grace at the fall of the footy. Makes a contest of it. They wrestle for the footy at ground level. So it's a 4-point ball game here at KG5, the home of the Magpies, their centenary year. Lauderdale undefeated coming into this one. It's gathered by Walsh. Burge rather. There's going to be a free kick. It's going to go the way of Glenorchy. Sam Rundle, a new Magpie this year, has a really big opportunity for Glenorchy.
Made his way down the highway from Launceston this year. This is probably his biggest kick in black and white.
No question. Sam Rundle marches on in. Can extend the lead for Glenorchy. And he does! They're back out at 10 points. This game keeps on giving.
Yeah, good finish from Sam Rundle. Cool under pressure, veteran player. Made no mistake. That's exactly what you need your older heads to do. You're given an opportunity and you go back and nail it. 10 points the margin. It's still 2 straight kicks for Lauderdale. We're 19 and a half gone in this final term. Time starting to become a bit of an issue for the Bombers.
That's a huge goal from Sam Rundle.
They need one here. They just can't afford to, certainly can't afford to concede another. As it goes up in the middle, Smith won it down. Here's Burge. He's ripped off it by Rundle. Gets the Bombers inside 50. Gunther leads his man to the ball. Saunders came in after it. Unable to gather cleanly. In they go. Big ball to be won. It's scrappy and it's held up.
But it's in the right area for Lauderdale.
It's where you want it to be as a Lauderdale fan, that's for sure. Inside the forward 50. Big ball to be won here. Smith over the back. Bell Chambers fighting hard. Fell into the arms of Sutton. Here's Saunders trying to get through too. He's going to be pinged. That's holding the ball. So Jay Bowden emerges with the Sharon. He's got Camerick short if he wants him. He looks further afield. Thought once, thought twice, and kicked long towards half forward to the tall timber. Almost a wonderful mark reeled in by Hill. It's hacked forward by Tyler Bowden. Fist came from Webb. It'll be Heavey running onto it. Is it Heavey? I thought he was gone. No, it's not. Sutton has it in the middle of the ground. Tumbling ball forward, and it's Bowden getting in front. So the ever-reliable Bowden spreads it out wide. Pies in possession. Gunther attempts to present. Kicks it out towards the outer side. Smith gets across and affects things over the boundary. It's the Pies that remain 10 points in front. 11-7-73. Plays 9-9-63 here at KG5. 21 and a half minutes gone, final term.
Huge couple of minutes to come. Smith tries his best to swat it. Gathering at the back was Camerick. Swing inside forward 50 now is Josh McGuinness in the direction of his brother. It's one down and now Kieran Newell might get involved. Was he dealt with? No. Came to Gilby. Gilby to Ben McGuinness. He didn't know what to do. A hurry kick outside 50. Bouncing. Just stays in and watched out by Roberts. He was happy to take the boundary line as sanctuary. Still there for Lauderdale. They need a goal in the next minute or so, though, you'd think. There was an injury to Heavey. It stopped the game for a little bit, so it might go for a while as it's in from the boundary umpire, down off hands. Underneath all that is Daly. So it'll be balled up virtually on the paint of forward 50 for Lauderdale. Undefeated coming into today. Down from Smith. Camerick eyes it off, eventually gathers. Swings back a handball. Bouncing towards Sutton. Sutton gets a boot to it. Kicking out now was Brennan. He finds Grace. Grace at his shoelaces, takes a good grab. Looks ahead, looking for Tyler Bowden. Bowden doesn't get to it. Runs under it. Francis runs out of time. Coming across was James Webb. That was a big moment. Be thrown in again. Glenorchy just work it up the line.
Big ball to be won here. Out of the stoppage. In it comes. Nobody went for it. Bell Chambers will lead the race. Feed up a handball to a running player as the Bombers go forward. Here's McGuinness. Leads his man to the ball. Needs to trap it under his spell. Does so. Wheels around onto the left boot. It's a disappointing entry. Straight down the throat of McKnight, who gets Glenorchy out. Looking for Bowden, but couldn't quite hit him on the outer side.
Well, they're lucky there, really, Lauderdale, because that was a poor forward entry from Ben McGuinness. Had a lot of time to assess his options, and unfortunately the one he picked was poor.
In she comes. Reeves was at the front. Bowden, who's lifted in this game. High ball towards the middle of the ground. Players converge. Big tackle to wrap up Webb. It was big. In fact, it was Webb underneath there. Perkins was the man. 24 and a half minutes gone. Glenorchy by 10 points. Can they hang on? Daly can't get free. Umpire says, I'll have the footy.
They need to strike quick, Lauderdale. Time well and truly the enemy. They're up again. Reeves and Smith. Smith down. There's a whistle. It's going to go the way of the Pies, so that stings for the Bombers. Daly out to Camerick, just short of him, but he's had a lot of the footy today, Camerick. Another running bounce. Delivers to the paint of 50, just short of Grace. Cries for out in the full, but it'll be thrown in. So Glenorchy, some big injuries, some big omissions. They lost their captain, Braden Webb, last week. Serious knee injury. They'd already lost important soldiers. And they had late omissions today. Duffy with an injury. And they have produced really good games so far. Can they hold on? Trupp swings it round. Good mark from Rundle. He's had a fantastic afternoon. Rundle into the pocket looking for Callan Daly. And you wouldn't bend against him from here.
This will just about do it.
Callan Daly. He lit a fire under the Magpies in quarter number 3. Turned the game. Can he seal it for Glenorchy? In he comes. Callan Daly gets the journey. Offline. The accuracy just not there for Callan Daly. A minor score. The game stays alive.
11 points the margin here. Glenorchy with the advantage. Lauderdale need to get it and go. And that's exactly what Trupp does. He goes straight up the guts. Good move from Trupp. They need a mark though. Gunther flies. Couldn't bring it down for Glenorchy. They gained some territory though, the Bombers. They'll go forward again, only as far as Banksmith. He had a man coming past who needed to give the hands off. Banksmith received it but lost his footing. Chance now for Lauderdale. Can they emerge with the footy? Yes, they can. Little ball inside 50. McGuinness has moved forward. He's at the back and he gets something out to Karen Ewer. He lost his footing as well. And players emerge. The Pies will wrap it in and he's going to be called for holding the ball. So big moment. As McGuinness went forward, couldn't quite gather it cleanly enough.
He's picked himself up very sorely.
He has. It was stacks on Bowden and Rundle. And it is that man Bowden who now kicks beyond 50, but only as far as Francis for the Bombers. Little kick inside 50 isn't a great one, but it'll be okay for Williams, who now goes deep inside 50. Oh, wonderful grab. He's done it all day.
Ben Camrick, what a performance.
And now the Pies look to steady. They can't just quite retain possession yet as this one spills out of bounds. Gee's been good today, Camrick.
Huge game from Ben Camrick and a huge game from Glenorchy. We're beyond 27 minutes now, almost 28 minutes gone. Lauderdale running out of time in a big way as the ball comes back in again. Siggins into the ruck against Duffy. Siggins down, gathered by Bell Chambers. He's got Camrick climbing on top. It'll be another stoppage. Big moment, you sense that one for Josh McGuinness. The ball just wouldn't sit for him. And he was in the right position, but just couldn't find enough space to make something out of it. It's down from Siggins. He finds a little bit of space, nudges it out, but it's all Glenorchy. They can raffle this one off and bring it out of defence, and that's what they do. Grant now the target. 2 hands to it, couldn't complete the grab. Duffy does it, just gets his kick away, but it falls to the Bombers. Sutton now for Walsh. Walsh does the smart thing, long and strong inside 50, but it's Smith who arrives to take the crucial grab for Glenorchy, and you sense they're going to win this game.
Defence has been exemplary today from the Pies. They've really stood up. Here's Camrick again. If the siren was to sound now, it'd be very fitting if it was this man who finished with the footy in his hands. He just pops it up towards the wing, looking for Grant, who gets front spot and takes the mark. So a chance now for Glenorchy to just hold possession. Camrick runs by his right-hand side. He uses him. So a short little kick that went about 12 metres. Walsh was very enthusiastic. Calls of 50. Camrick now just pops it up on the wing to a contest. Here's Duffy, the miracle man. So Cam Duffy, he's on centre wing. He'll just lob it up inside 50. Can the Pies take a mark and kick a sealing goal? It'll be all Lauderdale at the back. McManus with a short ball. Can they launch something off half back here, the Bombers? Saunders' handball was good, and there it is. Full time here at KG5. Siren sounds, and Glenorchy run away with a famous 11-point victory over Lauderdale. They were battered, They were bruised, but they did enough in the end. 11-8-74 to the Bombers 9-9-63. What a game, Damian Gill.
Fantastic TSL contest that. That's a win for the ages for Glenorchy. That's one to really savour because their backs were against the wall. The late omissions did their cause no favours. And they came out here and played brave, tough footy and got the job done. And I think Paul Kennedy would be proud as punch as coach after the game.
That's about as good a win as you could hope for as the coach of a footy club, missing some really key soldiers who were challenged all day, who got off to a good start, who were down by 16 points early in the third term, but to spin it around and to win by 11, sparked by Callan Daly in that third term. How good was he? The small pocket rocket, as you called, kicked a couple of goals, and all of a sudden the Pies sensed that they could win this game, and win this game they did.
The last quarter, really, we speak of Callan Daly, but it was so much about their defence. They were just under the pump, and they just stood up so well. Lauderdale had a fair bit of the running, but just couldn't hit the scoreboard in a big way. They were undefeated coming into this game, Lauderdale. They'll be seriously filthy with the way that one played out. They won't get Glenorchy in much more pickable shape than they were today. Arnold is a seriously good player, as is Mott, out of that lineup. And I know Lauderdale still have players to come back in, but that's a game they really would have fancied themselves for, which makes it even more a better win for Glenorchy. They'll be very, very happy here at KG5.
And I think the tale is told when you look at those goal kickers. Ben McGuinness kicked 5. He was sensational for Lauderdale today, but he played a lone hand up forward. Bell Chambers kicked 2 out of the midfield. Walsh and Smith kicked 1 each. His mates up forward just didn't contribute like they should. Gilby was really, really quiet. Kerrin Ewer tried hard, but just couldn't produce his usual magic today. He was really clamped down upon. Whereas at the other end of the ground, they just found a really good spread. Tyler Bowden was really good with 3. Daly had a couple, and the midfielders chipped in as well.
Also the likes of Rundle and Malucci that aren't listed there, that also, Rundle, really cool set shot finish in that last score, and really that decided the game, because you sense if he had missed that, I wouldn't have been surprised if Lauderdale had have won the game, because they only needed the one major. So fantastic win for Glenorchy, a famous win, one they'll savour in a big, big way. It's been our pleasure bringing it live to you on the stream. Great to get a good game on the Bupa TSL stream. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage. 11-point winners are the Glenorchy Magpies. If you're a Magpies fan, soak it all up. Bye for now.